It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
Hey, this a
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop. It's a rolling, not a stop. Watch, shit don't never stop. Stop. Stop.
No problem with it.
It's the flow that got the block high.
No.
It's the flow that got the block high.
No problem with it.
It's the flow that got the block high. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Damn, there's a good. It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop.
Yeah.
Hey, this a
Yeah.
It's a rolling, not a stop. Shit don't never stop. It's a rolling, not a stop. Watch, shit don't never stop. Stop. Stop.
No problem with it.
It's the flow that got the block high.
No.
Medic! Scalpel. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us on this glorious day.
And a friend.
You aren't duping the doctor. I mean, the doctors look into your eyes.
Jeez, and the fight is over! Michael Chandler! What did I tell you fools?
What's up, boys and girls? This is UFC lightweight Michael Chandler. I'm just telling you right now, if you don't go to YouTube and hop on the MMA Bet Surgeon channel, like and subscribe and ingest and digest some of the best UFC mixed martial arts and boxing predictions on the planet, on the internet, then you're doing it wrong. Appreciate you guys. See you at the top.
Ooh. Okay. What's going on, everybody? It's the MMA Bet Surgeon, Mr. Douglas Las Vegas, and the lieutenant with who's it's just such an old photo of Chase Sherman. Like, how old is he in that photo, Lieutenant?
Delta State, bitch.
Oh my God, it's all the way right back when he was. That's pretty good because I like that photo. Like, he used to be like on his first run, and we're going to talk about it. This is our, of course, our full bet breakdown for UFC Fight Night 189. I call it 189. We're just going to keep counting it on. They're calling it Vegas. I know Doug's going to say they're calling it Vegas. What do they call it? Vegas 28 or whatever.
I fucking
I think
forget.
it's 26.
Whatever, it doesn't matter. I labeled the Las Vegas one as a fight night, so I'm just keeping consistency with my numbers. But now I feel like if they do a fight night coming up with a number, it could be totally off with my numbers. So we'll see how it's going. But it's basically UFC on Vegas 26. I'm calling it UFC Fight Night 189. Oh man, this is the fight we were always waiting to see one day as a main event Oof. Robert Whittaker taking on Kelvin Gastelum. This is it's going to be an absolute scrap. We're going to get to it. Absolutely. And I mean, it's going to be one of those ones where hopefully this week we're going to, just like I said, we're going to ride that wave from last week. We're going to take the carryover, and we're just going to keep picking good. I mean, like I
was going to say, one of those weeks, really feel like we deserve the praise from the GOAT, Michael Chandler, right there. Just shouting us out because, hell of a week last week. Keep it rolling.
Absolutely. It's just it has to be continuous.
I don't think Sherb's in here yet, but a few people here watching live threw out a beautiful, I think it was 8.5 to 1 parlay live that ended up hitting. Sherm ended up, even though he obviously squandered it, but
yeah, we made big money last week. Money that we were kind of making when we first started the channel and we first started doing this. So it's good to start seeing that kind of roll in again, hit some of those nice little 3-leggers. You know, we had a lot of decisions, so we know that kind of fares with what I like to pick decisions anyways, which is fucking crazy in MMA. But regardless, I mean, but
to run it, I think it was like you had what 10 and 13.
Yeah, 10 for 13.
Missed on 3 5 on the main card.
Yeah, and one of my missed picks was one of my underdog stabs. One of the underdog stabs, which I'm always obligated to take a couple underdog stabs, because if you're not, then you're not. You got to be trying. I mean, there is some cards for sure where it warrants a full slate of. Can warrant a full slate of favorites for sure.
And of course, for everybody who's watching, we were obviously consensus pick on our co-main event underdog winner Arnold Allen. So Hayden did. The cameras in the shop.
Yeah, cameras in the shop. It's getting fixed by the world's worst camera fixing guy.
Robots. Like
it's a bunch of robots.
Worst camera fixing guy. I like that one.
Yeah. I had to ship it back.
It's never coming back
to the factory.
There you go.
Just the camera, though.
There you go. Doug, you got anything to say about last week? You want any energy you want to bring into this week's card before we start busting through these picks? I think it's going to be a little bit. I'm going to try and go through them faster this week than last week for sure, because we took fucking once again almost hitting records for how long we can go. Sometimes we can talk about fights forever.
There you go. But those good things take time.
True. That's true.
Yeah. No. Last week's card was good. I got off to a bit of a rough start. I've been picking against you guys in the prelims. We'll see if that continues. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we all kind of came together on the main card and ended off pretty well. Bounced back after the scare with Betway early in it too.
Forgot about that.
So now we're back, and hopefully we'll have a full slate to bet on, and I'm looking forward to it. Back to regular time.
Absolutely. For everyone wondering, I think I did fuck something up. I was wondering, why does this, let me view this on YouTube real quick. Let's just talk shop for a second while I look at something to see if I did something here.
Well, I was going to say, Dougie, do you have a particular, because I know they ended up not picking, do you remember the fight of the night that they ended up going with, Patrick? Because I know that there's a couple.
Yeah. Let me bring that up. Give me 1 second.
Because there were some points that you wanted to bring up that we didn't touch on the fight guys. One of those being that they only ended up giving out two bonuses, which is absurd on a card like that. That's absurd. One of the and obviously biased. Obviously, I'll take it. Like obviously having some success on the card, but. I think I said after the card, I think it from top to bottom surpassed Holloway Cater for me. So
yeah, I think it was definitely close. These ABC cards keep delivering.
To only give 2 bonuses is an atrocity. So I think it was probably obviously Mackenzie Dern for the sub, right? And it was it
ended up being Sam Alvey and Julian Marquez for the fight of the night. Which I thought was fucking great. Yes, they only gave out 2 bonuses. Crazy.
That's crazy, man. That's so crazy. Because our fight of the night was what was that again? Sorry, because we had the reigning fight of the night.
It was the McDessie and Bahamundes fight.
Bahamundes fight,
which we all pretty much.
How did that not get fight of the night? That was a great fight.
I think I fixed everything.
Yeah. Wow. I forgot about that. Yeah. Given
Marquez got the finish,
Marquez.
Right? So like.
Fight of the night over that.
How's that fight of the night? You give Marquez performance bonus, and then you make the other one fight of the night.
No, I think it got fight of the night. I think it got.
I know, but
maybe it did get a performance bonus. Maybe it did, and maybe they gave it to both.
Bonus.
No, they gave it to both. They gave it to Alvey too. They gave money to Alvey too. I know they did.
Why Alvey would no offense. Like If that's Salvi, I don't know why he was getting 50K.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I mean, yeah, I don't see why the UFC on a 13 fight card where they're pretty much maximizing potential. I know they had did they have a couple fill-ins on that fight short notice? They did, right? Like, for sure.
They did give out 3 bonuses. They gave Gamrot a performance of the night as well.
Oh, there
What
you go.
the
This is
fuck?
why you always got to fact check.
But fight of the
Fucking went
night,
through an
fight of the
article.
night did go to Sam Alvey and Julian Marquez.
Performance.
Okay,
And
yeah,
another performance bonus
Gamrot
went to
definitely
Big Mac Dern.
Yeah, we knew that. Yeah, that was that just performance, or they gave her a submission, like
It was
submission of the
performance.
night? What the? Fuck?
Performance of the night, and then they gave out 2 performance of the night.
Well,
so it
that's
was
like the-
Mackenzie
Yeah,
Dern
see, I
and
don't even know.
Gamrot.
I don't even know anymore, bro. Forget it. I'm fucking ridiculous. Thank you for checking that, Doug. I was way off there, obviously.
Well, anyway, great card. Hopefully, yeah, as you said, keep the energy, transfer the energy, keep it rolling.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely.
What do we kick off with? Because obviously, we all know these jumbling up the lineup. So
Yeah, I think it's Gravely and Gravely and
I think
Birchak.
this is what I have now too.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Let me just see. I have to find it. Mine's in the old order. I don't have that first. I still have Dakota Bush and Austin Hubbard. We've had at least two fight pullouts of this one. This matchup's a bantamweight matchup at 135 pounds between Tony Gravely, 5'5" with a 69-inch reach, taking on Anthony Birchak, 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Gravely 1-1 in the UFC with a 20-6 MMA record, 8 knockouts, 3 subs. Birchak 2-3 in the UFC with a 16-7 MMA record, 5 knockouts, 8 subs. Gravely's coming off of a split decision win over Gerald de Freitas Jr., in which, you know, he was quickly pretty much, as we've seen from Gravely, this is a guy who's very about his wrestling game, comes from a Division I wrestling program, one of those good schools, I'm not sure exactly which one, still continues to train with some of the top schools in the nation, like putting his body through camp, and you can just see it in his game plan. He's quickly just looking against De Freitas Jr. to pretty much get that body lock, look for the takedown, and pretty much start the fight on the ground. He just pretty much just works able to right to side control, but De Freitas, you know, got out right away. He was kind of a harder guy for Gravely to be able to pin down in the early couple of rounds, but you just see Gravely being the guy overpowering with some of these double legs. You know what I mean? Like there is positions where he can get submitted, and people do throw up submissions on him. But even against De Freitas Jr., who had that kind of jiu-jitsu game, jiu-jitsu striking background, he was kind of able to negate those situations. De Freitas Jr. was having some success on the hands and feet, just from his a little bit of a reach advantage, a little bit of a length advantage. But other than that, it was pretty much just the same kind of thing. Gravely would want to get inside, look for the clinch, and get the takedown. And even if it was on his second attempt, you see a guy like Gravely consistently working. Like he's always looking for these takedowns. If you're going to scramble out, he's going to chase you. If his game's to get you to the mat, he's going to put you there. That's for sure. His cardio is always a very strong suit for him, in my opinion, at least. And then towards the end of that fight, we pretty much just saw De Freitas kind of have some success there. And you know, Gravely was a little bit tired, but he did kind of get caught with some shots right before those final couple minutes of the fight. And but even then, you see it. He's still able to fight through and get a fucking sweet single leg, and that even just seals the deal for him. Even it just takes him out of firing, takes him away from the firing squad of De Freitas Jr. So the Brett Johns fight, that was kind of a worrisome fight. I mean, when we're looking back at Tony Gravely and what we've kind of just seen recently, the Brett Johns fight obviously being, you know, we know Brett Johns is one of these high-level MMA practitioners, and he was kind of able to look for that guillotine early in the fight, as Gravely was pretty much just shooting in for kind of one of those blatant takedowns. He maybe didn't, I don't think he set it up as well. There was just some, obviously in Brett Johns, it's a little bit of a different fight. Johns was kind of just showing his reversal and pretty much was able to get the TD himself, and then ended up hopping on the back and quickly looking for the rear naked choke on Gravely. And you saw Gravely was able to have success and start the second with some inside punches, but Brett Johns was able to just work his way back to that position, knowing he kind of already had him there, and get that submission. Anthony Birchak, on the other hand, he's coming off of a submission loss to Gustavo Lopez, in which throughout that fight he looked pretty good. He was just slipping, landing the left hook, rocking him, just swapping stances into punches. This is Gustavo Lopez. He was kind of having more of that success early on in the fight, and it's the smoothness. Like we talked about him recently, we broken down Gustavo Lopez recently. He's kind of got that good striking, and he was giving Birchak some problems there. Even in the clinch we saw throughout that fight, there wasn't there wasn't a ton of good stuff going on. I mean, it was a pretty even fight, but Gustavo Lopez was able to pretty much take over that fight and work a lot from that fight. And he was able to take that back and lock in that rear naked choke pretty quickly. And it just looked like one of those good fights. I mean, the earlier fights too, we've seen him get some submission wins, especially in like the submission win over Eric Redlam. I mean, I see Gravely coming on in this fight, probably putting up one of the classic, closely contested fights that he has. One of the where the majority of his scoring opportunities in the fight are takedowns and groundwork from the ground. Gravely's always shown he can do it at a high pace. In his last fight, he overcame that reach disadvantage in a striker in De Freitas, who's had submissions, which he was able to avoid throughout the fight. We can see Gravely really has the gas, and the shots landed at him on will in the late minutes of the fight, but Gravely, like I said earlier, still able to chain takedowns together and continue the fight from where he wants to get it. Anthony Birchak, on the other hand, who hasn't fought since his loss to I don't know why I had that as the wrong name. Anthony Birchak, on the other hand, that's fucked up. Close to a year ago. Since then, he hasn't competed in a grappling match, in a grappling bout, in which he's been doing. We've seen him. Birchak compete in grappling bouts throughout his career. I see Gravely just being a little bit too much for Birchak in this fight, leading to pretty much Gravely searching for either a sub or most likely in this fight we're going to see him pretty much just reaching and having one of those decisions where he pretty much just works throughout the fight. Is it going to be one of those fights that's close in the beginning, and we may be even thinking if Gravely can't work to either get him on the ground, could it be close? Absolutely, but I think that Tony Gravely just has the better work pace, work rate, better wrestling. I think he gets this one done via decision.
I agree. I have it by finish, but Tony Gravely is just better everywhere in this fight. I think he's going to use his hands to set up some takedowns. He gets him on the ground and probably goes for a ground and pounder, a submission there. I have him just by finish in this one. I'm not taking any specific KO or submission. I could see him sinking in either. Just because I think his wrestling is probably his biggest advantage, so I think he's going to want to put the fight to the ground. Birchak is his toughest test. I'm not putting anything too heavy on Gravely because the line is so down, but him by finish might be a decent parlay piece to start the night off.
Mm-hmm. You heard me too, Doug. I leaned to it. I said he's gonna look to get it. But I said fuck, or it becomes one of those things. Then I ended up siding with the decision. But I like that we're on pace at least for the first fight. Dan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm not gonna sway from you guys on the first one. I guess it'll be a consensus on the moderate favorite Gravely here. I think that as the surgeons pointed out, I think just the wrestling ability of Gravely and the pace and the strength will be able to win him this fight. I think he's gonna just be pressing that advantage the entire fight, and I think it'll probably go the distance. I think that Gravely's got the skills to defend the choke. I don't think Gravely's really shown to be too much of a submission threat throughout his career, so. I think depending on the odds, I'll probably be taking a stab at the decision.
Yeah, would love to see the odds. We can just kind of start skating through these. Gravely on points at 3.4. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Wow, there it is. I guess that makes it up. That's set right there for me. Why do they really think what? So what? What do they think is gonna happen?
Well, let's see what just the straight finish is. 2-1.
Not bad odds anywhere really on this fight.
I actually don't mind it when you start looking at the props for this fight. They're actually pretty good.
I'll probably end up when I'm doing. I'll probably end up playing the decision straight up and then parlay the finish as Doug was saying.
That could be the move.
I could be down to do that.
Because
I could see myself splitting this one too. He's such a high favorite. I could see myself going finish in one parlay, decision in the other parlay. That's how we're starting off the night.
My main worry was
I could see it.
Birchak potentially catching Gravely in the submission, but I think that
that could happen for sure. But
the Freitas fight that he showed that he was able to fight off several submissions, even getting chained together. I'm pretty confident that if he's smart enough and he doesn't do anything too risky, then shouldn't be too much of a worry. But of course, it's always possible.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's not definitely not that straight line. I don't think I'll be throwing that straight line into any parlays or anything. It's not something I trust that much.
No, not at all. Not at all. But
all right,
okay.
You guys want me to scroll up to anything? Or are we all good here?
No, I think we're good with that one. I think that's good for that one. I think we're on to the next one already. And this should be the next one. This should be the Zarah Farin fight, right?
Yep.
Okay. This is the fight where Doug is the expert. Bantamweight bet at 135 pounds between
the
Zarah
expert.
Farin.
I've read like 2 things, bro. Chill.
Has expert. No, we already discussed this. This is true.
Between Zarah Farin, 5'8" with a 73-inch reach, 0-2 taking on Josiane Nunes. I don't even have her reach and height, but what I've been hearing and reading, especially on like Topology, is like I'm hearing that she's sitting around 5'2". She's sitting around 5'2".
I've got her at 1.57 meters, whatever that is.
Okay.
Let me convert.
Yeah, convert that. Is that just 157 centimeters?
It's 5. She's not even 5'2".
Yeah.
Okay, so then there you go. Her reach is kind of something else I would love to know if you can find that. If you have that, like
I've got it 170 centimeters. I don't know what that. Let me convert that as well.
No, I appreciate you got these though. I did not get the Josiane Nunes reach numbers.
She's got a 67-inch reach.
Okay, so she's we'll call her 5'1.5". Okay, so Zarah Farin 5'8" with a 73-inch reach, taking on Josiane Nunes 5'1.5" with a 70. What'd you say?
Oh fuck. It was 67-inch reach.
67. Okay, with a 67-inch reach. So right off the bat here, people, we're looking at least a 7-inch reach disadvantage in height, and then we're looking at almost a 6 or 7-inch reach discrepancy in a 6-inch reach discrepancy right off the bat between Zarah Farin and Josiane Nunes. This is Zarah Farin's official move down to bantamweight to 135 pounds after pretty much having her career at 145 pounds here so far. She's 0-2 in the UFC with a 6-4 MMA record, 4 knockouts, no submissions. Josiane Nunes, like I said, making her debut in the UFC with a 7-1 MMA record, 6 knockouts, no submissions. Zarah Farin, she's coming off in her UFC record 0-2. We see that and we say, yikes. And you know, there's a tendency to say that. I would not say I'm laying heavy chalk down on this fight at all, but I mean, if we are picking this fight, and I mean it's one where I have not been able to watch any tape on Nunes. So honestly, like really, I would say for picking wise, I mean, I have to pick it, but I would rather almost even not. But after saying all that, we're seeing Zarah Farin. She's coming off of a knockout loss to Felicia Spencer, which we saw then to go take on Amanda Nunes, one of the top grapplers at 145 pounds, absolutely for sure. I mean, just a stud phenom on the ground with her jiu-jitsu skills. And I mean, that's kind of the game plan. That was kind of the game plan, especially in both those fights, just going against bigger women who are better on the ground than Zarah Farin is. And Zarah Farin likes to, sit back and strike a little bit. Her fight entrance into the UFC was against Megan Anderson, in which, she took a submission loss. Does that look bad? Of course, but Megan Anderson she's one of these women that we've obviously just seen challenged for the title. And now, obviously, is one of these women that at least a check mark for her, and something that was able to let her get past a lot of these other tests at 145 pounds was her size, right? So now we're seeing kind of Zarah Farin move down in size, move down in weight, finally fight at her natural weight, which she wanted to fight at the whole time. I think she had good opportunities at bantamweight, obviously being off in Megan Anderson and then Felicia Spencer, but maybe not right at the timing, and maybe not the right weight class. But obviously we're now seeing kind of her get to take on Josiane Nunes, and I'll be honest, like I said, I haven't seen much tape on her. I've only got hearsay from, obviously Doug's got a little bit more knowledge on her, but I've heard what some other people have said from her on breakdowns and stuff like that. Just me particularly looking for what people are thinking about Josiane Nunes. I normally won't even watch other breakdowns, but I got to listen to what people are saying about this girl at least, because I'd be honest, I could not find any film, and I'll be honest, I kind of wasn't that bothered to, once I looked past my normal resources of where I could find film, I kind of said, okay. I just said, I can't really pick you. Can't really pick you. Don't really know you. You're much smaller than the opponent. from what I've heard, a lot of those wins that she does have been when her opponent looks to end up finishing her, and then they end up gassing in the process, and she's able to kind of turn the tide and get a finish. So kind of what I'm seeing from Nunes is, she's I don't know, maybe not fighting the best competition, but I am going to pick Zarah Farin to get this one done. Fighting down at 135 pounds, much larger, much bigger opponent. I think that she just possesses a lot more ability to win this fight. So I'm going to pick Zarah Farin. From what I don't know about Josiane Nunes, but still.
From what I do know about Nunes, which is pretty limited, she's got some pretty heavy hands, some uncommonly heavy hands for a fighter in that division. We usually don't see too many knockout artists in the 135-pound division. Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to see that translate into the UFC. I think we're going to see her go out there and try to finish early. I think she's going to go in there and try to make it wild. And Zarah Farin's in there with a striker for the first time in a while. I think it's going to be a striking battle, and it's just going to be if Josiane Nunes can hit her. Normally, I go with the striker with the more straight shots, which in this case would be Farin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think this power too.
Pass up on
Nunes.
This is a fucking real.
Shit.
This is close.
This chick's fought at 155.
Bro,
what?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What promotion? Name me the promotion. Yeah, what's the promotion? What's the promotion?
Sicario MMA.
Exactly. I don't even need to say anything. That speaks louder than words. You know what I mean? That's it.
She also knocked out a girl at 155 in a minute.
I've literally heard though, but think about it. Okay. I don't want to say that all girls, and especially fighters at 155 are out of shape, because I don't think 155 is even out of shape for a woman. Women box at 155. Yada 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 yada. But maybe in some of these,
she lost to Tyler Santos.
I know. I actually knew that. I don't know why I forgot about it though. I don't have a record up. But yeah, I think I'm
Santos' first fucking fight ever. First professional fight, not first fight ever, but
yeah.
Dan, what are you thinking on this one?
Fuck if I know.
I'd say I'm not even picking it. Like, if I had the option to say don't count it in my picks this week, I would do that. But fuck, we're not doing it like that. So,
yeah, I'll lead towards Zarah Farin. I guess that's my pick, reluctantly.
I think I think it's going to be one of those close.
If I see this girl on the scale
and
she just looks like a clone of like Jessica Andrade, then I'll probably change my pick.
I don't think she's a clone of Jessica Andrade.
But I think Zarah Farin, if she's able to put together a smart game plan, maintain the reach, not get clipped, then I think she should be able to win. But
and you gotta win. You gotta win. I love it. There's already a fire under her ass.
I can't be less confident about it.
Yeah, but I think there's whatever.
All right, we should probably get on to the next. Any value in these lines?
You don't want to look at the.
If we're just gonna let's take a look. But what's some? Oh yeah, Nunes by KO.
Yeah, I'm not touching this.
Zarah Farin to win by decision is mincemeat too.
Yeah, I would just play her straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be
avoid that.
Zarah Farin for me.
I'd say avoid that. What's up, Ryan? Ryan says, I need a massive... you might have already left. I know this was probably a while ago while I was probably doing the breakdown. I need a massive underdog. Can you guys help me?
Don't touch Masvidal, dude. Don't touch Masvidal.
Yeah, I'd say don't touch Masvidal either, bro.
It's a money pit. Nah, Masvidal is going to lose again. Anyways, we got
any massive underdogs on this card, to be honest. There isn't really any.
Have we already seen the biggest underdog? Is the biggest underdog the first fight of the night?
Is it?
I believe it is. Oh, it might be Jacob Malkoun. I think they're pretty close, though.
Okay, well, there's nothing else.
Yeah, it looks like it's...
Well, I know I'm not picking fucking Malkoun, so...
No, yeah,
Birchak, say that confidently.
Birchak is
I
the
have
biggest underdog on the card.
Listen to Ryan. I have $600 in free plays.
Oh my god!
I wish you were Sherm. Sherm would fucking splurge on $600.
That's like Sherm's like wet dream.
Oh yeah, you're already Dan's already looking through the lines. This is a lightweight bet at 155 pounds. It's a short notice fight for Dakota Bush. Austin Hubbard was supposed to have another opponent. I don't know who it is off the top of my head. I should, but I just don't. Austin Hubbard 5'10" with a 71-inch reach, taking on, like I said, Dakota Bush 5'10" with a 73-inch reach. Nathan Levy, okay, was supposed to be the original opponent, had to be pulled out for COVID. Austin Hubbard is 2-3 in the UFC with a 12-5 MMA record, where Dakota Bush is making his debut in the UFC with an 8-2 MMA record. Hubbard 5 knockouts, 2 submissions. Bush 2 knockouts, 4 submissions. Hubbard is coming off of a submission loss to Joe Solecki. Joe Solecki, we recently just saw fight and look very, very top. I mean, like Joe Solecki, like we were praising him last week on the breakdown. We picked him last week on the breakdown. I believe it was just last week he already fought, and I mean, just really, just up to a T in that fight. Just looked very good. In the Joe Solecki fight, I mean, we saw that kind of. You know, we did see Austin Hubbard pretty much get submitted. He was stuffing early takedowns, and you know he was throwing some straight shots down the middle in the Joe Solecki fight to start that fight. But I mean, it was starting to look a little bit rougher as Joe Solecki started to press, and Joe Solecki was able to get the back, climb on to and get that body triangle, and just look for that RNC, trying to soften him up as he was sitting on his back. I broke it down last week. The Max Rothkopf fight, that was a knockout win for Austin Hubbard, in which Hubbard was leg kicking well, moving well. You know, we saw Max Rothkopf looking for takedowns a lot, and he even tried to got a takedown early in that fight, but we did see Hubbard was able to kind of reverse positions and get up and even land that huge knee out of the clinch. And I think that's something that's important for a guy like Austin Hubbard, is landing a lot in these exchanges, but landing in these exchanges when guys are exiting and stuff like that. He does have kind of that awkward kind of more so, he has those shots that you sometimes can't even see coming. And I mean, he does look really good. Like, I mean, there is as many losses as there are on this guy's record. Like, he gets pretty much introduced into the UFC to a fight with Davi Ramos, who we all know as being one of these high level guys on the ground, and then getting kind of a more easier fight in Kyle Prokopec, and then getting, of course, I think it was his entrance to the UFC and Marco Madsen. I think that was Marco Madsen's entrance fight in the UFC. But even then, you're getting a silver medalist in wrestling at the Olympics. You're getting a guy who's just, you know what he's coming in to do, especially early on in his fighting career before he's a little bit more comfortable with everything else. And he was able to kind of get up through 8 takedowns, and even still towards the end of that fight, put on pressure. Like, he shows good cardio and a good tank. Dakota Bush, on the other hand, he's coming off a knockout win over Austin Clem, in which that was a short notice fight for Dakota Bush, in which I believe he was saying something like he had to make a short notice 31-pound cut to make weight, because obviously he got the call and didn't want to say no. He was ready. And in that fight, he was kicking the leg, and Clem was pretty much just stepping inside, and Bush was trying to just step in and land. And we just saw a lot. We saw pretty much a quick fight. We saw, you know, Bush kind of looking good in the clinch, trying to put on some flurry of punches, and people were saying he was a little bit mad before that fight. Like, it looked a little bit slow. The pace was a little bit slow in that fight, but he was mad, and he looked ready to go, fired up as him and his opponent were against the cage in that early in that first round in an exchange where he put about 2 good hooks and a couple straight shots and backed out of the exchange and landed a dynamite head kick on Austin Clem, knocking him out. I mean, in the Brian De La Rosa fight, he was able to also get a submission win, just kind of doing the same kind of thing, working the leg kick well to start, and then looking to get that takedown. In that fight, he was able to pretty much pass quickly and cleanly, pretty much right off the bat, take the back, pound some shots, and then you saw De La Rosa try and roll out, and he ended up getting caught in a guillotine choke. This is one of those hard fights for me, man. This is one of those hard fights where, you know, we have a guy, once again, these short notice fights are weird, and they're especially kind of weird when you have guys that are actually pretty good. Guys like Dakota Bush coming off of, coming from a different circuit, coming from the LFA circuit, a guy that we've seen before, seen kind of put on performances. It is a little bit questionable to try and, you know, pick against him. But like I said, we've seen Austin Hubbard kind of take on the better competition, take on the guys where he's been, you know, hasn't really been given anything in his UFC run as far as being one of these guys they brought in at kind of a younger age. And I mean, they didn't really give him any fights. They gave him kind of hard guys consistently. And I know it's hard in his record to kind of look at that and say, maybe he gets the win, maybe he doesn't. I think the short notice fight benefits him. I think him training with all those guys up in Colorado, some of the guys like Razak, Gaethje, and all those guys that he trains with, man, I think that he gets a lot of good work done. I think that Austin Hubbard is gonna be able to use not only his wrestling, but I think his cardio most importantly in this fight, and look to get the fight done probably via decision, I'd say, in this fight for Austin Hubbard.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this fight mainly takes place standing and striking.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hubbard wins that. Bush is definitely live there. I think the only way Bush wins this fight is probably by submission. We've seen Hubbard lose by submission and get out wrestled before, although I think calling his wrestling a weakness might be a bit of an exaggeration based on his opponents.
Yeah.
But if he does have one, it would be that. So Bush would probably, I'd say Bush is live for a submission, but I have Austin Hubbard using his defensive wrestling to mostly keep it on the feet. I think Bush can hang there, but it's probably a solid back and forth decision for Hubbard. I think he's just a step above in that game.
Yep. Agreed, man. Agreed. Dan, what are you thinking?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna agree with you guys on this one. I think that combination of Bush coming in on short notice and the skills that Hubbard possesses, including obviously that ability he's shown on the ground to hang there with the guys that the surgeon has listed. So I think that Hubbard has the skills to take this 137. Could we still see Bush come in, have a very strong first round, despite coming out on short notice, maybe steal that one? Sure, but I think that the cardio and the overall skills of Hubbard will get him the win via decision in this one. I just think that he was set to fight such a tough contender, like he's always set to fight in Natan Levy, and I think that Natan Levy surpasses threat wise Dakota Bush in every capacity, and I just don't see where I don't see Dakota Bush being able to control Hubbard on the ground to get a submission. Like, he could definitely catch him in something, but I don't think it's like any sort of control and then submit kind of thing.
Sure. I like that. I like you relating it to Tom Levy. I like that. Yeah, let's look at some lines here, though. Let's roll through some lines here. So Hubbard obviously being pretty heavy favorite. Let's see over on the rounds.
It's not massive, though, considering it's like short notice and like the people, I think maybe it's like the record is kind of making it, the record of Hubbard is why it's a bit closer, but yeah, I kind of like that there. I like Hubbard. I might throw him in a parlay at those odds.
It's definitely not terrible. Hubbard on points at 2.1.
It's not bad either. It's not great.
I don't know. That might be the way I'm rolling. That might be the way I'm rolling for that fight for sure. Like, we have to think about it. Boston Hubbard's going to win the fight. Is he going to be the first guy to crack Dakota Bush's non-finished fight career? You know what I mean?
Probably not.
You know what I mean? No?
I'd have to go with the decision.
It's not going to be Rashkov quitting on the stool.
I didn't even finish talking about that fight, but I'm kind of glad I just fucking kind of didn't. I just kind of stopped and started going into other fights because the other fights are reality. There was other fights that were better. But yeah, I think that I think I'll probably be going with Austin Hubbard by decision in this fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you on that one.
Yeah,
I like those odds enough to take that.
Yeah, I think that's enough of a step up from him straight up. I know him straight up's not bad, but I think that's enough of an
throw him straight up in a parlay, but yeah, play the straight decision.
No, yeah, that's not even a bad idea either. For sure. I think we'll keep rolling through. Keep on rolling. I just gotta kind of scroll for this one. I think this one was listed as fucking way up the card originally. I think when I wrote it down, or when I think Doug wrote it down. Oh no, maybe it wasn't. It's a middleweight bet at 185 pounds between Gerald Meerschaert, 6'1" with a 77.5-inch reach, taking on Bartosz Fabinski, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach. Meerschaert 6-6 in the UFC with a 31-14 MMA record, 6 knockouts, 23 submissions. He's coming off of 2 knockout losses, one to Khamzat Chimaev, in which early in that fight, I mean, we pretty much saw it. He took about 2 leg kicks, and it was the first punch that Khamzat Chimaev threw in like.
To his credit, he did a great job avoiding Chimaev's wrestling.
Yes, yeah, that is true. Right into the right
shitty
hand.
Joke I stole from Twitter.
No, I get it, man. Yeah, I was gonna say right into the right hand. fucking, yeah, it got hit with the first right hand that Hamza pretty much threw, and it floored him, and the fight was over. Maybe 1 or 2 lead-up shots, but the ref stepped in and stopped that one. The Ian Heinisch fight, Heinisch was kind of having some success, kind of chopping to the feet, working to the body well early in that fight, and then it was kind of the same kind of shit. Meerschaert was kind of coming in with these slow, labored shots. He doesn't have the best stand-up, and he got clipped, dropped, and finished. Just real quick by Ian Heinisch, pretty much like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, something very quick. Bartosz Fabinski, on the other hand, he's coming off of a rather quick submission loss to Andrei Munoz, in which Fabinski was looking to get that takedown early like he normally does. That's kind of his game plan right off the bat, and pretty much almost guillotined quickly. And you could say, oh, this is like, at least he's escaped the first guillotine. Good job, Bartosz. This is what you need to do, because this is kind of what the fuck he needs to do throughout these fights, is escape these submissions when he's diving in for takedowns. And then he got caught in pretty much a very tight armbar. That was like, I didn't even think that he'd be able to pull the armbar from there, just because everything was so compressed and tight, but he was able to. Munoz, credit to him. I mean, Bartosz Fabinski also fought in his last fight, not in the UFC circuit, but right before Darren Stewart made his leap to the UFC circuit recently, was able to get a UD win over him, looking to use pretty much his judo game, looking to try and get his clinch knees against the cage and using his knees. Stewart pretty much was able to, that it wasn't a UFC fight, or was it? Maybe I'm fucking it up. Was that
Cage Warriors?
Cage Warriors. Yeah, Stewart was pretty much able to land one of those massive elbows. We know Darren Stewart being one of these inside fighters, big banger. Hit the head of Fabinski early in the fight, split him open on the top of the head, but not really a bad cut, just in a bad spot, just kind of lots of blood. And I mean, it was actually kind of helping for Fabinski, because we saw throughout when Fabinski was working to get into top and kind of work through these takedowns like he was trying to do the entire time. He worked for some head and arms chokes, but you realistically see Fabinski want to look there and pretty much just look to pound you on the ground like a sack of meat. I mean, he's just looking for that. He was able to avoid some things. I mean, even in the end of that first round, he even came close to guillotining Darren Stewart, but wasn't able to finish him. And then in the second, we saw Fabinski kind of just do that kind of same thing. Getting the takedown, posturing up, looking to work the body well, and looking to mix it up top, on the ground, of course. We even saw Stewart attempt some takedowns and look to work, but we saw Fabinski pretty much reverse positions and look for the takedowns himself, and then able to get them. Stewart was able to look for another takedown, and then but then he just ends up getting pressed and taken down. You just see Fabinski's entire game plan throughout most of his career, and even in his other UFC fights, because this is his second stint in the UFC. I mean, we've just kind of seen it's been more of a similar kind of a similar game plan for Fabinski. So it is going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see in this fight. I mean, I believe that Fabinski's earlier career in the UFC was at 170, but I could be wrong. I mean, in this fight, it's really hard for me to pick. I mean, this was one of these ones that again, that I mean, like, part of me is like, oh, this is one of these fights. This is one of these fights that they're teeing up right now. They're teeing up to give Gerald Meerschaert something to win, something to hang on to, rather than having that last Hamza Chimaev and Ian Heinisch. He's just getting all these kind of up and comers, and they're rolling through them. In my opinion, obviously, I think Gerald Meerschaert's pretty live for the submission. I think other than that, it's going to be a close fight, and Fabinski's going to look to work that takedown and look to work and sit on top. I think the real question becomes, and I think a lot of people think that it's going to be, do people think that he's going to be able to get this submission? Or is he going to be able to close out some sort of a decision? But I would probably need to believe that Gerald Meerschaert, to win this fight, is going to need to get this submission on Bartosz Fabinski. And I mean, he is a guy that has been susceptible to submissions, but I am actually going to take Fabinski to win this fight via decision in this fight. I think he's going to end up just putting a good hammer pounding on Meerschaert. I think he's going to avoid the submission, coming off of a submission loss. His second run now in the UFC, he knows he can't go back-to-back finish losses, especially back-to-back submission losses. He can't be doing that. I think Fabinski comes out here butcher style, looks to butcher, looks to mangle, looks to finish, doesn't get it, cuts him up, but he ends up winning this fight. Bartosz Fabinski.
So it's not his last couple fights were at welterweight in the UFC, but he has fought. He had fought at middleweight on his UFC debut, back in April of 2015 against Gareth McClellan.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, so that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was trying to pretty much say.
Majority at welterweight though.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, that's what I was kind of trying to say. But yeah, it's okay. And then on the other hand, you could say GM3 has fought at fucking light heavyweight in his career because he has.
I saw that. I think he fought like a catchweight at 190, but that's not really crazy. Sorry, Fabinski. I mean.
Oh, okay. Doug, what are you thinking on this fight?
I agree with you. I think Fabinski wins the decision. And I have the exact same thing you have written.
Oh, wait, Fabinski's the favorite, eh? Fuck me.
I see it being Fabinski just landing the takedowns and grinding this one out for 3 rounds on top.
Yeah.
But I mean, at any point,
Meerschaert
could get the submission. That's the thing. So I mean, the way I see the fight playing out is Fabinski landing a couple takedowns each round. Meerschaert's gonna fight. He's gonna throw some stuff up from the bottom, but Fabinski keeps control. But again, like you said, I wouldn't be shocked if Meerschaert landed the sub, so I'm not going too hard on this one.
Yeah, for sure. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you guys on this one. I think this is a terrible stylistic matchup for Fabinski. I think the exact place he takes the fight when he's winning is the exact place you don't want to go against GM3. I think we've seen it even against guys who have posed submission tests previously and they've ended up getting them. He hasn't exactly been cautious about getting takedowns. He knows that's where he's strongest, despite the other guys having threats there. But he goes there. I don't know if he learns, maybe just fights him up against the fence or something like that. But like if he takes him down, I think he's gonna get caught unless he's absolutely covered in his own blood again. And it can
so that's a good point.
Out.
Yeah, no, his coaches need to rate. I think blading needs to be put into process. One of the coaches needs to blade him.
Yeah, I mean, it fits, though. I do agree with what Dan says. It does look like a bad stylistic matchup on paper. But I mean, you can't just get submitted all the time, right? I mean, I hope not. If I'm wrong on that.
That's
age bad.
You just don't adjust.
It's the Butcher. I'm telling you, if he doesn't win this fight, he's going to get one more, and then he'll get fucking cut again. Or if not cut after this fight,
I think both of these guys are in a bit of a pressure situation.
What's round 3 for GM3? He always likes nice third round subs.
11-1.
It's not bad. I might do round 2. I might do 2-3 split on this one for GM3. I think that when Fabinski start getting a little sloppier,
you're probably right.
GM3 gets beat up a little bit more.
I think GM3's a good dog.
I like the round 3 hedge.
I didn't know GM3 would be a dog.
But GMC3 has also been losing recently. He's been getting absolutely just starched by these.
Yeah, but he's getting these heavy hitters, fucking like huge hitters. Yeah,
Fabinski ain't gonna do that. Fabinski ain't knocking him out.
I honestly think that there could be a sequence of events where I see the Butcher pounding 4 or 5 good elbows like he tried to land on Darren Stewart right off the head of Meerschaert. Meerschaert takes the first one, and then you just see his head start going ping, 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 and you're like, he's the fucking out. He's out. All he has to do is really land one of those. We've already seen Meerschaert's chin's not good. If he fucking lands one,
really throw that. Like his shots aren't crazy. Like,
I'm not saying they are. They're big enough to open a couple mouses under Darren Stewart's eye. That's definitely pretty much it.
We've seen GM3 get knocked out before, but like, yeah, it could be like after that. You never know.
Who knows, right? Yeah, that is true, right?
Definitely a fight you don't want to be digging deep on. That's for sure.
No, yeah.
Chalking anything too crazy.
For sure.
Light plays and props. There'll be no parlays running through this.
I want to see Fabinski on the scale too. Faux show.
Sure.
Faux show. I just want to see what he looks like. I want to see what
Is there
he looks
anything
like.
else you guys want to look at on this one, or are we?
No, I think
I'm
we're good for
on
this one.
Okay.
I think we are good. Where is this one in my notes? Oh fuck, it's down here. Wrong way. Oh, here it is. Next up, we got a strawweight women's bout at 115 pounds between Jessica Penne, 5'5" with a 67-inch reach, taking on Lupita Godinez, 5'2" with a 63-inch reach. Penne, 1-3 in the UFC with a 12-5 MMA record, 2 knockouts, 7 submissions. Godinez making her debut in the UFC with a 5-0 MMA record, 1 knockout, no submissions. Penne is coming off a UD loss to Danielle Taylor, in which, I mean, this fight was time ago. This fight was, I believe, I thought I had, sorry?
I think it's 2016, wasn't it?
I had the days converted somewhere in the timesheet out. But yeah, it happened midway point, about the exact same.
April 2017.
April of 2017. So I mean, that was her last fight. She had a string of fights canceled from 2019 to 2021, in which she was supposed to take on some other kind of rising prospects in the division and didn't end up fighting. I mean, it does look a little bit weird. I mean, we saw kind of in the Danielle Taylor fight, even from that long ago, we saw Taylor moving, landing some shots, while Penne was kind of just walking her down, following Taylor, kind of looking to try and land some good shots. But even with Penne having this extended reach advantage, we saw Danielle Taylor able to circle well and enter exchanges when she pretty much wanted to and land what I would say the more significant strikes for sure. I mean, we saw like Penne was even with, like, she just didn't set up strikes. She didn't even look to like kind of work her takedown or even set that takedown up, and that's why she wasn't really able to have success with it. I mean, Penne was having some more success later in the fight as Taylor's kind of movement went down a little bit. But I mean, having that 6-inch reach disadvantage for Taylor, obviously means she has to, kind of circle and come in and look for openings. But Penne was pretty much just looking for the takedown late in the third, and we had Taylor just avoiding it again. I mean, I totally gave that fight to Danielle Taylor for sure. I mean, even before that fight, we saw Penne getting knocked out a year before that to Jessica Andrade. I mean, this has kind of been a constant thing we've seen from her since 2015, since her, or even you could even say since the Randa Marcos fight. Or no, not really. I wouldn't even say that. I'd say since 2015, in which she took the fight to Joanna Jędrzejczyk and lost via knockout in that fight. She then took almost a full year off, lost via knockout to Jessica Andrade, then took what I would call a significant step down in competition to Danielle Taylor, in which she lost the UD decision, even with all the tools in the toolbox to probably win that fight. Godinez, on the other hand, I mean, I've seen the only fight I pretty much watched of her has been the Demopoulos fight, and that was a UD win. That was her last fight. I mean, she was pressuring well, moving. I mean, some of the stuff I like about Lupita is, I mean, I really like her head movement. I think that she shows very high level boxing. I think that her striking's like it's way up there. Like when I see that, when I see your, Mexican board fighter, very good boxing. Like she's got that really, really nice head movement, that slick head movement that she's using to draw out shots. And what I like is she's got like this cockiness, this superiority. She's not worried. She looks strong. I like her core. I think her core, she's got a very strong like base where, it's very hard to, kind of take her off of that. I mean, just throughout the fight against Demopoulos, we just saw her pretty much go in there and threaten the champion for 5 rounds, threaten to take her out of there multiple times. I mean, just pretty much give it to her. I don't think I would have given any rounds to Demopoulos. Lupita Gonzalez went in there, Godinez, and pretty much went in there and starched her. She was even denying takedowns and almost finishing that fight multiple times, like I said, from multiple different positions. I mean, there's the counter shots from Godinez, I think, are going to be the difference maker in this fight. I think that her stand-up's much better. I think that even with the reach and height disadvantage, I think that unless Jessica Penne's been doing, 3-4 years of hard training and ready to come back, I mean, this is the whole reason why I hate picking some of these women's fights. And I'd be honest, man, we've got enough fights this week, and I'm going to say it now. We've got enough fights this week where you don't have to pick any of the women's fights. You don't have to bet them if you don't want to. Because really, this is a fucking risky-ass fight. So is the other one.
Always say that.
Well, yeah, but the other one's one girl you can barely find tape for her. She's never been in the UFC. Jessica Penne, like we saw off one of the couple weekends ago, we've seen with some of these women, they'll come, or even men, we've seen them, they come off of these long periods, and that's why I say just avoid these fights. That's why I even said avoid the fucking, the men's heavyweight bout last week, where we saw the guy come out fucking just look nuts against, and knock Buddy out, Danho. I mean, it's some of this stuff that, like, it gets a little bit crazy. I mean, there is more fights that are a little bit more surefire than this one, that's for sure. If you are so inclined to pick this fight and want to know what my pick is, in my mind, I'm going to be taking Lupita Godinez. I mean, something just tells me she is going to pound Jessica Penne. I mean, part of me wants to see just how good she's going to look in the stand-up exchanges, because I do think that she does have the stand-up ability to finish Penne, for sure. But is she going to be able to chain it all together and get the finish? Nah, it's a little bit more questionable in my mind. I'd probably lean more further towards decision.
Yeah, I'm going to take Godinez by decision in this one. I'm not really scared about the pick whatsoever. I'm not worried about the layoff for Penne. That heavyweight fight last week, I don't think you can compare the two. That was a heavyweight fight. This is a strawweight fight. It's complete polar opposites weight-wise.
Oh, yeah, but still.
Yeah, no, I get your point, though. I get your
yeah.
point with these layoffs and improvement. I don't know if that's going to be the case here. I think she was trending downwards. She hasn't won a fight since, 2014?
Yeah.
Godinez looks like a good prospect, and this is a good fight to insert her in the UFC. You give her a name that a couple people know and have seen, and I think she's going to look really good in this fight, and I think she's going to win this one. I have it by decision, but I could definitely see the finish.
Yeah.
That kind of depends on Penne's durability after the layoff.
True, and I want to see it. I mean, I would assume Lupita goes in there and looks to fucking rip her head off. You get Jessica Penne on a layoff, and it's a name, and she's recently fought the champ at the time, and then the contender, and go in there and fucking start her. Like you said, it's a beautiful name to start your career off in the UFC. It really, really puts you up there and makes a lot of people see you right off the bat. I mean, Penne, I didn't even know she'd be that much of a dog either. Holy shitballs. I thought this fight would even be a little bit closer. Maybe even them giving giving the nod to fucking Penne a little bit in this fight. But I mean, I get it.
Why would they give the nod to a girl that's coming off a 4-year layoff after 3 losses?
I get it.
But did you know why what the reason of her layoff was?
No.
So it was a 4-year. It was due to multiple injuries, but it was also a battle with USADA.
Oh, really? What was?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think she was prescribed.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember this
by her doctor and it was just like back in the kind of the inception of USADA that she didn't know there wasn't that I think had something that was banned by USADA, but she thought that it was since her doctor had prescribed her something that it would be fine. Yada yada yada. I think she ended up getting. She got injured when she tried to come back in 2019, but then she got tagged again for a tainted supplement and almost got another ban. But I think she ended up fighting that. But now she's back, and obviously had that matchup with Hannah Goldie, and now we have Godinez coming in on short notice, who I agree with you guys is going to be able to get this one done. I think that she's got very crisp boxing. She counters well. And she clearly has power in her shots. One of those girls that has visible power, was showing on the face of Demopoulos in that last fight. And
I thought she could have finished her.
Easily the best fight I've ever seen in LFA.
True.
A women's fight in LFA, hands down.
Very good.
I do disagree. I think Demopoulos was winning some of those later rounds.
I thought that was close, but I don't really. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No, some of those later rounds she ended up tagging her Demopoulos. When Godinez was a bit getting tiring a little bit, but in a 5-round fight where she ended up getting the majority decision with one scorecard scoring in a draw, I think that she impressed me greatly. And obviously coming out of BTC, I watched a little bit of that fight, looked good in that fight as well. But honestly, I think she looked way better in the Demopoulos fight. She rose to the opportunity, and I think she'll do it again with her opportunity to come into the UFC. And I think she'll be able to get a finish. I think I have it 2nd round TKO for Godinez. I think, obviously, it's Joanna and Jessica Andrade, but I think Lupita could be that kind of that talent. But it's also combined with the fact that 4 years for anybody is it's a tough thing to do, and especially somebody who wasn't necessarily the greatest talent to begin with. I think it's not too hard of a pick for me. I think I'll be putting Lupita not in the majority of my parlays, but definitely something.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agree.
Points 4.0 for Penne, 1.83 for Godinez. Interesting. Lupita to finish.
Like, I don't even know if I want to bet I don't think I'm gonna bet any props just because like
I won't. I
she
might
could
bet
finish- she could
I
finish
might bet
her.
around. I gotta see though. Like
Like,
it's.
sorry, like, I'll probably bet the round 2 because that's my prediction.
Yeah, I was
but-
gonna bet either around 2 or 3 if anything.
Yeah. Maybe.
Oh, you're betting her to finish. Your predictions for her to finish her.
Yeah, I said round 2.
I
Yeah, that
missed
is-
that.
What he said he was saying that's what he was talking about, comparing her to Andrade and Joanna.
Oh, I've got it zigged out there a little bit.
So you just black out whenever I'm talking.
No. I'm just zigged out there a little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree about her being a good parlay piece too. That's the only way you can really play it straight up, but I'm still kind of stuck between the decision and the finish. So I think that's
just a straight finish up is like 4, eh?
Holy fuck.
That's not bad. Kind of crazy,
Interesting.
though.
Interesting.
Maybe better to play the rounds, but you can't get burned that way. I don't think she's necessarily just gonna go start her with one. Like, she hurts girls though. Like,
She does hurt girls too, right? It's gonna be interesting, right?
she's definitely. I'm pretty confident about the pick though. I don't think. I think it's tough. Like, we could see something from Jessica Penne when she's been working hard these last 4 years. But like, I think it's more likely that she's gonna be the fresher girl getting the win.
100%.
Fresher, younger girl with
100%.
who's got tons of talent in her own right. It's not me just getting Penne. I think this is just the opportunity for Godinez, and this is going to be
It's true though.
beginning of a
It's
good career.
huge step up in career though. You're right. It is massive step up though. Like you're getting a girl like Penne, and she's.
But as you said, we got her going BTC championship in Charlotte.
Yeah, that's like, even if you look at it that way, it
LFA
actually looks a little bit
championship.
worse. Yeah, it actually looks a little bit
UFC.
worse that way. It looks a little bit rushed if you look at it that way, right? Like, because she starts her career, goes against a girl that's 2-1, wins. Then a girl that's no, sorry, not Jessica Pena, Godinez. Then a girl like Ashley Martin, who's not even had a fight, gets that one. Gets the next one against her next girl who's only had one fight, wins that one. And then the next girl that's basically a 500 fighter gets that one in the BTC fight. Then goes on to take on Demopoulos, who's 5-2, and I thought she looked great in that fight. Like, nothing to take away from her in that fight, but straight from that LFA crown, right, to coming into a tough fight. But I mean, it isn't, like we said, layoff for Penne, not really having a win since years. So it's gonna be
I
an
think you
interesting
can
fight.
hardly knock a girl for like level of competition or like the amount.
No,
of
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you look at it, you could say like it's almost a little bit quick, right? Like you'd almost expect more than that.
I think it's pretty common in women's MMA.
Yeah,
It's not.
you're probably
it's not a guy coming into
right.
The UFC like lightweight division.
You're probably right. I mean, they're always looking to fill it up with talent, but yeah, we've talked about this one already for too much.
She's super talented. Yeah.
But she is super talented.
No, I don't think so. I disagree. I think the Sarah Farin one's completely different. It's a girl we've been able to see. It's a variable, a 4-year layoff, sure, but we have to
I hear what you're saying.
take that shit
I hear what
into
you're saying.
account.
Like, I agree with it. I agree with the pick. I agree with it. Does it scare me a little bit because it's women's MMA and it's because it's like
No,
Jessica Penne coming off? Scares me more than other stuff, though, for sure. Scares me more than other stuff, that's for sure. I'm just trying to find this next fight here. Here it is. Oh wait, no, it's fucking. This one was like all the way at the top, wasn't it? Or unless I just keep fucking this one up.
This should be a main card fight. This is a great fight.
I don't think. No, it's not. This is what people were harping on earlier.
I know it's not. I'm saying it should
Can't
be.
find it though. I can just gotta. All these orders fucked. Oh, here we go. It was just heading with the halfway page. We got a heavyweight bout of 265 pounds between Alexander Romanov, 6'2" with a 75-inch reach, taking on Juan Espino, 6'3" with an 80-inch reach. Romanov 2-0 in the UFC with a 13-0 MMA record, 5 knockouts, 8 submissions. Espino 2-0 in the UFC with a 10-1 MMA record, 1 knockout, 7 submissions. Romanov coming off of a submission win over Marcos Rodrigo de Lima, in which he was pretty much just able to get a power double takedown for Romanov pretty quickly, working into side control. Lima was able to get up off that first takedown, but Lima was pretty much knowing he has to score with strikes, pretty much looking to attack that leg, looking to try and get something in quick. But Romanov was just clinching him, getting up against the fence, getting the takedown, posturing up, and just starting to work punches from there. And then we pretty much saw with a minute left in that first round, we saw that that classic forearm choke that we've now seen from him a couple times in his career. And it is dangerous. It's heavy for sure. It definitely weighs on your neck, and it'll make you tap. As far as the Roque Martinez fight, that was another submission win in which he was able to pretty much look to work those takedowns, but early in that fight was defending a leg lock, and then able to kind of get a hip toss and kind of just really start to work. Romanov was pretty much able to pressure to start off that fight, and then work to try and get that takedown. And once he had it, look to just do his normal kind of thing, work with his heavy top pressure, look to work into full mount, just super heavy with his positioning, looking to really put you in a lot of pain, and then was able to get that good takedown again, get to full mount again, rain down some shots, and look for some submissions, and he ended up finding that head and arm choke against Roque Martinez in that second round. I mean, and even if it gets the first, like, you didn't even think Roque would make it out of the first with how tight that choke was, but nonetheless, man, I mean, Romanov's one of these top wrestlers at heavyweight for sure that's coming up, and Espino's no slouch himself, that's for sure. I mean, he's coming off of a submission win over Jeff Hughes, in which he was moving well, but Espino, we saw, like, just consistently a little bit lighter for a heavyweight, light on his feet, moves well in that southpaw stance. He didn't really set up his first takedown very well, but got it and got right into side control and was able to start putting on punches. Espino was pretty much looking to chain TDs and just looked to kind of get up sitting on that back. And once he was able to work it in a little bit, he was able to slip into a quick scarf hold choke and just look for that super crank and get the submission. The Justin Frazier fight, Espino was pretty much right in for the double leg takedown. I mean, that's kind of like I said, these guys, high level wrestlers. Could that just completely negate it and cause a striking battle? It's absolutely possible. But I mean, we saw in the Justin Frazier fight, he was looking to put the hook into the back, start to work and put the other hook in, and then flattening him out just as much as possible, and then looking to soften him up. We saw pretty much Espino scrambling and smothering, and then getting the key lock beautifully in that fight. I mean, this is one of those interesting bouts at a heavyweight limit, featuring two guys in the heavyweight division that look to keep developing, working their way up. Espino being one of these guys that's after 2 years has looked great at heavyweight, that after 2 years ago was looked at as a threat in the heavyweight division because of his ability to wrestle and submit as he worked his way through the season 28 of The Ultimate Fighter. This was at the end of 2018 was when Espino was already 38. Since then, he's only fought once, and it was towards the end of 2020, adding another submission to his record and looking dangerous. Romanov, on the other hand, is one of the top wrestlers as well in the heavyweight division and shows with heavy top control and heavy submissions, as well as heavy ground and pound. Both these guys I mean, Romanov is kind of one of these guys that's going to look to fight at a high, fast pace and kind of want to look to make you make a mistake on the ground, or make one when you're in one of those quick positions where you need to make the mistake. I mean, and that's kind of his ability where, he's able to kind of catch guys. But I mean, we do see a guy in Espino being kind of more of a submission artist himself too. And I mean, could that result in a stand-up war? I don't know, man. I kind of doubt it. I actually see probably Romanov looking to use his heavy top pressure on Espino, probably looking to wear Espino out, and then either looking to finish him on the ground and or look to pretty much just work. I mean, does Espino have the ability to probably survive for that long? I mean, it's possible, but I'm taking Alexander Romanov in this fight to get the win, to get it done.
I've got Romanov as well. Got it by decision, but I do think it's close. I think Romanov's going to use his wrestling, and it's just going to be a bit better, and he's going to be able to win these grappling exchanges. I do think it takes place on the ground. I don't think it's going to negate. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. We don't usually see these heavyweight wrestling bouts. This is it's a rarity for sure, to say the least.
Yeah.
I give Romanov the slight edge here in the wrestling department, although he does come up pretty quickly, and if he gasses, I could see Espino getting the late.
True.
Yeah, Espino getting the late sub. So I want to take a look at him round 2 and 3.
True.
Yeah, I definitely think we got to look at that late stoppage opportunity. I've been back and forth on this fight. I was originally on Espino, but And then I saw that he was 40, and I was like,
he's 40 now. I was just saying, ended the
he's
Ultimate
not
Fighter at
Brazilian.
28.
He's not Brazilian.
Mhm.
So I could no longer bet on him. We have to take Romanov. I do think though, like if it somehow does end up on the feet, Romanov will be in trouble. I don't think we've seen a lot of anything that too promising from him on the feet. Not saying that he couldn't show us that, but I think if it does, if he does somehow overexert himself trying to get the finish, even though he has shown he can when he does the thing where he just sits on top of guys and just
it's beautiful.
Pounds on them like a hammer.
Beautiful.
It's like, okay, like
Donkey Kong style with the double punches sometimes.
No, not Donkey Kong. King Kong.
Smashing the head, just trying to smash it between his two fucking hands.
Out of respect to Spivak, because he was originally the polar bear, right? Coming into the UFC, he's now.
Was he actually? Oh, was he actually the polar bear coming into the UFC? Well, yeah, aren't they from the same place of the world too? Moldova? They probably train together. Maybe him and Spivak are from the same place. They are.
Yeah, Moldova. I think it's also kind of just corny to have multiple guys the same last name. Like, that's kind of out of respect if you're coming into the UFC and a guy already has that nickname in your division.
I think we have a couple Spartans still. Yeah. But yeah, I agree, Dan. I agree. I think that's respectful to come in there and change your nickname.
I think the Romanov decision's a bit risky because he could gas in the later rounds, but I think I'm going to take it. I think he'll win the first two, but definitely could get caught.
The only thing I see being a problem is him actually getting the finish on Espino, right? Like him actually getting that done. Like, I mean,
but like most of the guys that he's fought today are nowhere near the caliber on the ground that Espino is. I think he's been able to pretty much just beat some of these guys until their body gives out on them or give up.
I mean, I will give it to Espino. He did go through the Ultimate Fighter, but some of his fights before the Ultimate Fighter, holy shit! You fought a guy that's 12-40. Holy shit!
Holy shit! How's that even allowed?
I don't even know, but he did fight a guy. He had 3-1. He fought a guy that was
3 times as many losses as wins. They should just automatically retire you.
12-40, bro. Whatever. That's still because he still fought some guys that were pretty good too. Oh, that's because he's probably regional too. I think it was regional, or at least in Ukraine.
The Romanov decisions is at 6-1.
Wait a second here. Maybe I'm wrong. What the fuck? Why did I always think
Fight
that?
to end in the third round, 7-1. I don't mind that actually.
Okay. Is that just the one fight he fought at that? Okay, he fought I knew it, man. I almost thought that Espino had a stint at light heavyweight or had at least one fight at light heavyweight. He had a fight at 220. Catchweight bout at 220. In his early
career.
I think that fucking
Espino's very slick on the ground, but I think there's we're gonna see Roman. He's just gonna power take down him and start beating on him.
Yeah.
I don't think that's clearly he's going to be his prerogative. Like, is he going to be able to do that for 15 minutes against a guy like Espino? We'll see. But I think he's got at least 10, and hopefully he'll be able to survive the last 5.
Agreed.
So maybe we go Romanov decision, hedge it with the third round.
Well, I've already heard that. If people are talking, people are like, "This is the fight that everyone is guaranteeing a finish in." So us picking the decision and all pretty much being like,
I love that
decision.
I love that. No, it's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah,
2 guys with us, 2 guys that are prone to get finishes, and it's going to be a decision. It's classic.
True. It's a good point, Dan. It's a good point. But I think that's
all the time.
I think we're all pretty set on that. I mean, is it possible for Romanov to get that?
Wait, is your official? Because I didn't think you originally said your method of victory, but was decision your prediction?
Yeah. I ended up saying I could see a finish, but I don't think so. I said I'd probably go with the decision.
So somehow we have all picked the decision.
I know. That's what I mean. That's why I said it's kind of weird when the actual prediction currently
if we're all
is more so
a prop, not only the same guy, but a specific method of victory. It's fate.
Set in stone, as someone said.
It's bound to happen.
There you go, Ryan Wilson.
How many
Ryan
fights?
Wilson, there's your big dog. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. You just see Romanov come out, sits on Espino, go, ping, 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 and
There's
then the 40-year-old
no
just
way.
crumples.
I just read the
40,
chat for
bro,
like
it's
the
40.
first time. Did you? I bet you Doug read that. My girlfriend took my phone and maxed my account on the Nets last week, and I lost 2K. What the fuck, bro? Put a password on that.
Was
shit.
that Nets
Jesus.
Lakers? Because that's a bad bet right there.
I don't know what girl's going on someone else's, even if it's your girlfriend, going on your shit and be like, I want to gamble 2K. That's a little wild for me to believe almost.
Yeah, that's something there, you know.
That's crazy wild, crazy cuckoo.
Quite the story.
I'm sure it might happen to Doug one day, though, where he gets all of his money pondered
Phone's
away.
on lock.
Yeah, you touching my phone.
Yo, you know the guy that was 12-40 that I
Yeah.
won an Espino beat?
Yeah.
Fucking Romanov beat him when he was 12-37.
How?
Oh my
bro?
god! How did we not notice that?
Yuri Gorbenko. Oh
No, it's just funny that we're trashing fucking.
Oh my god!
We're
Eagles
trashing
fighting
Espino.
Championship 6, Russia versus Moldova. Holy fuck! What the heck? What
Should have been
the heck?
watching that. Should have
What
been
the
watching
heck?
that. Oh, next time. The next one I'll be
Oh,
watching.
God.
Oh, so am I. I'm tearing up from that. Like, that's fucking funny shit that
Oh.
we just didn't notice that. And I was
That's
like,
just like,
look at this guy.
Stacked
It
records.
just shows how fucking stupid I am in reality.
Oh.
Oh, that's funny though. I'm gonna roll through this one. Like I said, this one I'm actually advising you to just not bet on. I don't know about even the lines in this one. I don't even think I even watched much tape on this one. It's close. I don't even want to really bet on it. It's a flyweight bet at 125 pounds between Tracy Cortez, 5'5" with a 67-inch reach, taking on Justine
12,
Kish.
hold on. 12-40. He's 12-50.
Is he 12-50?
Well, no, sorry. At the time of them fighting. Sorry, he's 12-50 now.
He's
12-50
He's 12-50
Yeah, so he
now.
so he hasn't won. Wait, when's the last time
He
won?
was 12-37 against him.
That's
He
what I
is on
said.
a. Hold on,
Holy
let me
shit.
count it.
Holy shit.
No, this is illegal. This is stop. No.
No, how many fights is it? How many
This is a
fights is
joke.
it?
This is
I
a
want to
joke.
fight
Still
that
counting.
guy. I want to fight that guy.
No, I think you pay for him. I think you say.
Oh, you pay
want
for
Duty?
him?
This
He's
is
on a
your little guy? You
24
want
fight losing
Duty?
streak.
Holy shit.
He's out of the
And he's
Ukraine.
won one of
Holy
his
fuck.
last
I think
32.
he might be a Russian. I think he might be a Russian.
He's won
prisoner.
one of his last 32. He fought Sergey Spivak.
I think.
Oh
Holy
my
fuck.
god!
Wait,
I'm watching.
what was he then?
through to
What was
see
he
this
then?
guy's
What was
Put
he
the
then?
notification bell on
Dougie,
this
what was he
cat.
then?
Put the
Dougie.
notification bell on this
What?
cat.
What was he when he fought Spivak?
Oh shit, I lost it here. Oh, he fought Kutalaba too.
Oh my god! Who
Kutalaba.
is this
Oh my
mystery character? We should have this guy
Did he
on
go
for
back?
an
Did he go
interview.
to light
Let's have
heavyweight
this
too?
guy on Fight
Oh yeah,
Guys.
he goes light heavyweight
Wait.
and heavyweight too.
Wait, he's fought a Spino.
Oh!
He's fought
Dougie,
both
are you
of
not
We
them.
know that though. We know
Dougie,
that. That's
that's
how we
what
said
we're
it
talking
originally.
about.
We.
That's what we're
That's
talking
why it's
about.
so funny, Doug. Because
Oh,
I
thought you
said
only brought it up when Romanov fought
no.
him.
I brought it up
No,
saying that's why me and Dan were laughing.
Holy shit!
I know because fucking. That's why it's so funny because I literally said
It was only
Espino's not that great.
No,
And I said to
Spivak-
Dan, he fought a guy that's 12 and something, and Dan went, that should be illegal. And then that's when Dan's like, the other guy fought him, and I was fucking like,
No,
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, he was
Spivak
yeah, he
and
was
Kutalaba
11 and
clipped him.
21 when he fought Spivak. And
Yeah,
then he
then got
fought
clipped.
Kutalaba right after that.
Yeah, the 1-2 combo, armbar, first round.
It was a month
KO.
later. It was a month later.
Holy shit.
Look how many fights he has though. No, it's like 5 fights in a year, 5, 6 fights.
Oh,
in a
he's
year.
like, he's
Yeah.
like, he puts fucking
No,
Kevin.
let me tell you. No, let me tell you what it is. I think he's a Russian. He's a prisoner of Vladimir Putin, and he just gets thrown at these guys. It's kind of like a form of torture.
All right, maybe we should get to this next fight.
Yeah, we're gonna get fucking off aired in a second.
That's actually
That is
insane.
hilarious.
No,
Wow.
this guy shouldn't be allowed. This
12-50.
should be illegal. Like you.
Yeah,
should,
let me.
This no. You should. This should. This is like. It's like you want to go spot Yuri, aka get a win against Yuri. Like it's fucking bullshit.
Hey, man, I don't know what to say, bro. I
Hope
don't
he's
have
getting
anything to
paid.
say. I don't have anything to say about this fight. I mean,
He just but it's like I don't think there's a single organization that he fights even consecutively in.
True.
Twice actually. No, he fought Lithuania regional back to back in 2017.
True.
Other than that, it's rare.
I don't know, man. Okay, let me just break this one down real quick. It's quick. Flyweight bet 125 pounds between Tracy Cortez, 5'5" with a 67-inch reach, and Justine Kish, 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. Cortez, 2-0 in the UFC with an 8-1 MMA record, 1 knockout, 1 sub. Kish, 3-3 in the UFC with a 7-3 MMA record, no knockouts, 2 subs. Cortez is coming off a UD win over Stephanie Egger, in which, she looked pretty good in that fight. Cortez has kind of been one of these girls that's, kind of slide her way through the UFC, kind of looking pretty decent. Came into her first fight in the UFC against Vanessa Mello in what I would call, I think, at least a little bit more of a tough fight to be your first fight, especially in the UFC coming in. But I mean, she's looked pretty good. Even on the Contender Series, was able to beat Maria Agapova. I mean, she's pretty good. Like, she's got a lot of UFC names on her resume. Like I said, 8-1 in her MMA career. Justine Kish, on the other hand, she's coming off of a submission loss to Sabina Mazo. I mean, in that fight, I'm pretty sure I ended up picking Sabina Mazo in that fight. But I ended up picking Sabina Mazo to win via decision. And it was a late rear naked choke. Late rear naked choke for Mazo, and I was fucking pissed. But we've even seen
after dropping her with the high kick though to drop.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. And then she also fought Lucy Padova, beat her in a UD win right before that. I mean, then taking a split decision loss to Jun Young Kim, and then a UD loss to Felice Herrig previous to that. I mean, she's definitely got some skills on her resume. She's been around. She's, in her opening fought Nina Nunes, then fought Ashley Yoder shortly after. Both girls that are pretty tough. Definitely have the ability to, work you on the ground in a lot of different those spots. But I just think that Tracy Cortez is a little bit better than Justine Kish in this fight. I think that Tracy Cortez will end up getting this one done via decision. And I'm looking for her to keep impressing me and just keep looking viable in the UFC as far as in the division and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. We've seen Cortez is the stronger wrestler here for sure, and I think Kish has struggled with wrestlers throughout her career. I'd expect Cortez to just wrestle for 15 minutes and go home with a UD in this one.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward.
Dan?
Yep, no, I agree. I think
similar game plan?
So it is Cortez's first fight in the flyweight division, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, since her and just in the UFC though, but if you don't count her Contender Series win against Agapova. No offense to Kish, I just don't think she really has anything that's too threatening as far as her game's concerned. I think that she can do everything pretty well, but nothing too great. I think that the wrestling ability, as you guys have already pointed to, of Cortez will be the story of this fight. I think Kish could potentially have more output on the feet while it remains there. I don't think it'll be there long, and I think she'll be grappling straight out the gate, controlling most of those exchanges, and possibly even getting the fight done with submission. My prediction is Cortez via sub round 2.
Well, there you go. Dan's got both the women sub round 2, eh? I love that
Parlay
shit.
Parlay
it, yeah.
No. Well, no, the one will hit, maybe. You just bet both, hoping one will hit.
I mean, it is one of the most popular ways of
it wasn't a submission though. It was
in those
KO.
weight
The other one was
classes.
KO.
Oh, true. Yeah, it was a finish. Yeah, it wasn't finished. True. Yeah, you're right. It was a knockout. It wasn't. My apologies. I actually thought it was a sub. I fucked it up. It was a knockout. Other than that, let's kind of just scroll through this one. Let's blaze through it, and then I'll pop to the next one, and we'll fucking keep on going.
What is the Cortez round 2 10-1? So that would be a 61 parlay. Both girls got it done in round 2. There you go, Ryan Wilson. Give it.
There's Ryan Wilson's big bet of the night.
Let your girlfriend throw some free money on that.
Yeah, on the 2 chicks.
Say, road back to redemption. Like, I'm not super confident in the sub, but it's not bad. 6.5.
I don't mind I don't mind taking Cortez and possibly parlaying the decision on this one. It's a little bit risky. I don't really want to touch a lot of these women's fights. I probably won't, but we'll see what I do later. Obviously, the night of, I'll probably bet on all of them. But for people that are watching,
I'll probably take both Cortez and Godinez in a parlay. Not like a big unit parlay, but
I could do that as well.
They'll probably be there, like something, maybe like a plus 200 parlay or something like that. That includes them.
Both of them.
We'll talk about that at the end of the card.
Yeah,
but we'll cook something up like that.
Yeah, you want to hop off this? I'll hop off it. Okay, on to the next one. This one is all the way up here, I think. Okay, we got a lightweight bet at 155 pounds between Luis Pena, 6'3" with a 75-inch reach, taking out Alex Munoz, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. Pena 4-3 in the UFC with an 8-3 MMA record, 2 knockouts, 4 subs. Munoz 0-1 in the UFC with a 6-1 MMA record, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. He's coming off of a contender series. He was on the contender series in 2018, and then he was recently on looking for a fight in 2019, the following year, and then he finally got his signature, and he got signed to the UFC by Dana White. Luis Pena obviously coming off that Ultimate Fighter season 27. I mean, we've seen Luis Pena just coming. He's been trying to recently get a fight. We've talked about it a couple times. It's probably the third time I'm breaking down these same recent 2 fights talking about Luis Pena. But Violent Bob Ross, man, I'm a huge fan. I mean, he's coming off the submission loss to Kama Worthy, in which, that was his first time ever being finished in a fight in Luis Pena, getting submitted like that. I mean, throughout the fight, he was able to land with long shots. He was kind of, he was getting countered somewhat quickly by Worthy. Obviously, Worthy being kind of the shorter guy, looking to try and trade some quick inside shots, looking to land the hard shots. I mean, both these guys were pretty much just trading shots, but then we kind of saw Luis Pena open up with some takedowns, look to pass guard, and look to try and set up some stuff like some arm triangles, end up taking full mount, and then looking for a body triangle, looking to choke, but he wasn't able to finish Worthy, and that's kind of where it started to, go a little bit awry for him. Pena was started in the second to look for another takedown and able to get it in transition and pretty much just return to that body triangle, that same spot, able to work from the back there, arguably up 2-0 in that fight. I mean, he was in that third kind of sticking and moving, throwing. He had a better output as far as strikes going out in the third, but wasn't able to get that set up for the takedown very successfully, and ended up shooting for a deep takedown and tried to get into side control pretty much on the shot, but got hit with the deep guillotine. And I mean, we saw the good defense and awareness and shown from Worthy, and he was able to kind of get that submission. The Steve Garcia fight, he's able to get a UD win, getting pretty much landed on early and then taken down when he was throwing a kick, but just getting back up, taking the back and looking to put the hooks in quickly and land with some good shots. Also able to get the choke, but once again, kind of started the second with getting another takedown, getting the body triangle, taking his back, and starting to work from there. We've seen that kind of Violent Bob Ross and Luis Pena himself can give a guy a lot of problems, especially when we see him really come out ready and willing. Because he's got the body to be definitely a good lightweight. He's definitely got the skill. It's just about him kind of rounding it all together and knowing what needs to be done where and when. Munoz, on the other hand, he's coming off of that UD loss in his opening the UFC to Nasrat Haqparast, in which Munoz was getting had a good double leg takedown right off the bat and was pretty much just looking to clinch and work his way up. But we saw Haqparast was able to rise and pretty much start to have success catching Munoz coming in. Only after that first brief takedown from Munoz did we see Haqparast pretty much just say, there is nothing you can hurt me with, and throughout that fight, walked Munoz down, denying all takedowns and just bop, 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 punching, doing damage to Munoz the entire fight. We just didn't see Munoz have much of an answer for the stand-up game, just constantly looking for takedowns, kind of looking a little bit at like a fish out of water in that fight. I mean, even just shooting from bad angles. I mean, a better submission artist might have even been able to catch him in a submission. But against Troy Lamson, which was his prior fight to that, Lamson was kind of... we saw kind of Lamson. I mean, that fight wasn't in the UFC promotion, but that was his last prior fight. We saw kind of Lamson swinging forward, kind of throwing shots, trying to use that reach advantage that he had over Munoz. And in that fight, we saw Lamson kind of having some success with the jab, coming forward, picking some good kicks, getting some good angles as he comes in. I mean, honestly, we saw a lot of timing. We saw a lot of confidence from Munoz, kind of coming in, kind of looking to land and come in and make an impact, especially at being at the disadvantage in that fight. But I'll be honest, man, a little bit of a tweak in Troy Lamson's game, and I think he would have won that, man. I'll be honest, very hard fight to score. I know they gave that a UD win to Munoz, but closer than it definitely looked for sure. I think that I think that honestly in this fight, man, I think that we're gonna see one of the better Luis Penas we've seen. I think that he comes in and he looks to put a lot of work, a lot of high work rate on Munoz, regardless of whether it's from a wrestling position or from a stand-up position. I think that Luis Pena is going to come out and win this fight. I think that he's just better. I think he's far more experienced. I think he's been up against far higher level of competition, far more dangerous guys. I think that Luis Pena ends up getting this one done. I do think that Munoz is going to look for these bite down takedowns or look to try and set up his takedowns with a couple of shots. I don't think Pena is going to be too hip to that. I think Pena is going to look to catch him with something as he's coming in and or reverse some of these positions. I just think that Pena is gonna go out there and he's going to show us violent Bob Ross for sure. I'm taking Luis Pena in this fight to win. Man, I want to. It's hard for me to say because I want to say Violent Bob Ross is going to come back and get one of these crazy finishes, but it just hasn't been. It hasn't been really the as of recent thing for us to see, other than in fact the Matt Wyman fight. Matt Wyman being a little bit past it. You know what I mean? So I think I might probably have to be leaning a little bit more to the decision in this one. I mean, it's hard to say, but we've all seen that fucking Munoz is going to just pretty much just look to walk forward. He's got a hell of a heart, and he comes from a good camp too. So, I mean, I'm going to end up taking Luis Pena in this fight to win via decision. And probably what's going to be a lot closer than I want it to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have it by decision as well. I think this is the typical striker wrestler that we're going to see. But it works in Pena's favor here because he's the way longer striker. I think as long as he's confident using his kicks to force the distance and steps in well with his jab and the long straight shots, doesn't get too wild with everything, keeps it compact, he'll be able to keep Munoz away from him, keep him at distance, and pick him apart for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Shit. Okay, I'm straying from the pack here on this one. I'm taking Alex Munoz to win and get his first win in the UFC. I think it's definitely not going to be an easy one, but he definitely didn't have an easy shot in his first attempt against Nazareth Hackspress. It's hard to think of a recently a harder debut than a guy like that. Definitely.
They had to give that to him. He was already through the Contender Series, and they didn't sign him to one of the now biggest guys promoted in Bellator for their division in Nick Newell. Like you remember that? That's crazy. Right. You almost forget about it. I forgot about it until I read it in the record. I went, holy fuck! I almost forgot that I watched that fight.
Like, what do you mean? Like he had to fight him though? Like you didn't fight a guy like that.
No, I'm not saying anything about Nick Newell. I'm just saying.
No, sorry, I'm saying, but you're saying the fighting guy like Nazareth Hackspress.
Oh yeah, they were gonna give him something. It's like what I was saying, kind of when I made that little comment before, earlier, like before I started the breakdown. Like he was one of these guys that obviously didn't get the nod in 2018 with the win over Newell. I think it was maybe even because they thought Newell won. No, he didn't, and then he ended up going to fight in Hawaii at Trinity Kings, in which Dana White, looking for a fight, came out to Hawaii and signed him after the Lamson fight. Gotcha. So they kind of, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of different with those Dana White looking for a fights and with the Contender Series, it's always kind of wild.
Well, they probably still had they were probably still looking at him. Like he was probably one of the guys when going to watch the card that Dana had on his list to watch. You know what I mean?
I can tell. Yeah. Oh yeah. I could tell that this probably should even be brought up too. Luis Pena was supposed to be his first introduction fight into the UFC.
Yeah.
Right. So it's gonna be kind of interesting. And I believe it said Munoz was out via injury, so I'd like to know what actually held him from that fight. But I mean, he only fought 6 months later, so not even so. I'm assuming he was rather okay. But right. I mean, he comes from a good camp, though. Like, I mean, it worries me to see a guy from, from Team Alpha Male, and I know that they're going to come out there and they're going to look to put a heavy wrestling game plan on a guy like Pena. I'd actually would have thought that I keep picking all these favorites tonight. I don't look at the odds before, but I would have even thought they would have had Pena dogged out a little bit on this one against Munoz, but especially because Pena is one of these guys that, is coming off the submission his last fight. Munoz also coming off of a loss, but like you said, to Hackparas, and it was decision.
Yeah, never got he was only like 6-0 headed before that loss. And he's has never won in the UFC. I think him being him being the underdog is definitely warranted. I think that it's going to be a close fight no matter who wins. But I think the key to the fight is the grappling. I don't think he's necessarily going to be using the wrestling that much offensively as he's going to be using it defensively. I think sometimes I think we've seen that when Killer Bob Ross gets hit and he isn't able to take the fight to the ground, he's struggled a bit, and I think we're going to end up seeing that. And I think the pressure of Munoz will get him the victory. I think that, yeah, as you were just kind of alluding to, I think Team Alpha Male is going to have a good game plan here. I think they've been training for him previously. He was speaking in interviews about how he wanted the matchup again. The team was looking for the matchup again, and that grows the confidence in me a little bit more even. So it's going to be a close one, but I think I'll be able to squeak out the decision victory and get his first win in the UFC.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be close. Sure. It's definitely going to be close. I could even see myself swapping on this one. Like, when it gets down late to it. Because I fucking love Violent Bob Ross, but he lets me, like... I hate when a guy's been put on ice like 3 times. When you get put on ice like 3 times, it fucks you up. You know what I mean, Doug? When you're like, oh, you're going to fight, man. And then they go, oh, that guy's out. You're not fighting this week. You're actually fighting a month from now. That's happened to him literally consecutively, 3 fucking times or twice at least? Hasn't it? Or has it just been the once?
Yeah, it was at least twice, I believe. I think he's booked twice. I remember the one off the top of my head, but I think
they're saying it's only been one. They're saying it's only been the Drakkar close. Wait, did they book the Drakkar close bout twice though? They try and do that twice and they couldn't get it done.
No, I think they only tried to book it once. Yeah, because that was the day of. Remember, it was closest cornerman test positive.
Oh yeah,
afternoon or some shit.
I'm pretty sure I picked fucking Violent Bob Ross to get it done against Drakkar close. So, I mean, I better be fucking picking him to beat Munoz, sir.
Yeah,
this one could get me stung here. I feel like, but we'll see. Luis Pena don't win by decision 2.4.
Not great odds on the decision.
No.
Well, Pena goes to I also see Pena even when he has a dominant decision, just kind of ride shit out, not be too. Seen him ride people's backs.
Yeah, the Munoz decision I see a lot more value in though. That almost makes me want to switch my pick just because that's a full. There's a lot of value in switching to the decision.
By the numbers.
Yeah.
No, I think it's going to be a close fight. I don't think either guy's going to win in dominant fashion. I think it. Let's see. What's just the fight to go the distance? Yeah, 1.5.
Probably pretty heavy. Yeah.
I don't even mind that as a parlay
I could see that. I was going to say toss that in a decent
parlay. That in the parlay with the chick with the women's fights, maybe women's favorites.
I could be down with that.
Something like that. Get started.
Yeah.
But it should be a good fight. Anything else you guys want to look at?
No, I think I'm good on this one.
I'm good on this one.
Definitely be looking at that one again. This one, quick one, breeze through, like a breeze. I mean, I don't even want to go into the backgrounds on this one.
I'm going to rip a quick Herb Dean, so take a second.
Go ahead, man. We got a middleweight bout at 185 pounds between Abdul Razak Alhassan, 5'10" with a 73-inch reach, taking on Jacob Malkoun, 5'9" with a 73-inch reach. Razak Alhassan, 4-3 in the UFC with a 10-3 MMA record, 10 knockouts, 3 subs. Malkoun, 0-1 in the UFC with a 4-1 MMA record, 2 knockouts, no subs. Razak Alhassan coming off a knockout win to Caleb Williams. I mean, he was taking some huge leg kicks to start that fight and giving one out, and then pretty much just that first right hand from Chaos Williams took the chin of Razak Alhassan and stiffened him up like a board. Fight was over. The Munar Laziz fight, I mean, in that fight, he came in over 3.5 pounds overweight in that fight. And I mean, we saw it in the later rounds. Munar Laziz able to kind of take over a little bit more. And even in the early opening, we saw Razak Alhassan kind of look for the finish a little bit too heavily on Laziz. And then Laziz was kind of able to just have more success in the later rounds of that fight. Able to work his own takedown game when pretty much we saw Razak Alhassan not have enough stamina to pretty much able to get the takedowns, even though that's what his coach wanted him to do. That was their game plan, to come in, to kick, work the leg kick, work the punches, get the takedown. Wasn't able to do that, kind of came in overweight, came in kind of not looking too good, came in trying to probably look to finish because of the fact that he was overweight and maybe knew he couldn't go that long. and then ended up kind of gassing and losing that fight to Laziz, being the deadly striker that Laziz is. Malkoun is, like I said, only had one appearance in the UFC. No Dana White Contender Series appearances either. His only appearance coming off a knockout to Phil Hawes, and pretty much Phil Hawes, no respect for the man, walked him down like a dog looking for food, and pretty much just walked him right to the fence, put a flurry of hooks on Malkoun. It didn't take more than 18 seconds, 20 seconds into that fight, and Malkoun was slumped over against the side of the fence. In my opinion, in this fight, I think this is one of those fights where they're looking to try and not only get Alhassan right back onto track in the UFC, but Alhassan's looking to get himself back on track in the UFC. I mean, he got Chaos Williams in his last fight, talked a lot of trash, talked about getting ready to test Chaos Williams' chin, and then getting slept with the first right hand that Chaos Williams throws on you. Doesn't look good, right? Doesn't look good for, what you're trying to bring as far as a striker either. So, I mean, he most commonly likes to try and use his punching power to dismantle you, but he does have that wrestling game plan in his back pocket. I mean, if he's not gassed, he can implement it. I think Malkoun, being somewhat of the newcomer to the UFC, having that fight against Phil Hawes, in which Hawes kind of ran through him quickly and violently. I mean, reality, it's two violent guys coming off. It's two guys coming off of violent knockout losses. I mean, I think that Razak Alhassan's kind of the safer play in this fight for sure. Him just being kind of naturally the bigger guy. Malkoun really not being really a middleweight, in my opinion. Razak Alhassan just kind of, I know, being even a little bit shorter and similar in height, but Razak Alhassan carries around 185 pounds. Jacob Malkoun does not. I just think Abdul Razak Alhassan has more power in this fight, has more ability to, even hold it and clinch, even have success in takedown positions. I mean, haven't seen much of Malkoun. But it is interesting. I am going to be taking Abdul Razak Alhassan. I mean, a lot of me in this fight definitely wants to take him via finish, and that's where I probably will be landing money if I am going to bet on this fight. But I do not think that Malkoun has what it takes to go up against Abdul Razak Alhassan.
I agree. I think this is a fight where Alhassan's stepping down in competition. Yep. He was looked at pretty fondly on his way up, but the Chaos Williams fight, I mean, derailed that. But what are you going to do? You take that power shot. He didn't really show anything in that fight to me. I'm not going to take too much into account with it.
No.
I think he's got very explosive striking, and I think we see that here. I think he's going to knock out Malkoun, who's just a bit below him in his move up to middleweight. I think he's going to get his feet set in a new division and try and have another one of these runs, but it's got to start with an explosive finish if he wants to get it anywhere.
Exactly.
Dan, what do you think?
No, I agree with you guys on this one. I think that's kind of funny that you're just saying that it doesn't think Malkoun's like a middleweight, even though like
he's not a middleweight. He's not a 5'9" middleweight. He's not a 5'9" middleweight standing out there looking like that. He is not. Not in the UFC, he's not, and we're going to get proven.
It's just funny because he's the guy that is 5'9".
I know, that's the heavier guy, naturally. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I think it is going to, I think but it's a good fight for him to make this move up to middleweight. I think that it's a good matchup for him. It was funny in my notes I have, it was like when watching Malkoun's fight against Phil Hawes, it's almost like I was watching a fight out of Alhassan. I was like, was this another Alhassan type from his initial run in the UFC where he's just murking guys? Because it literally exactly looked like Malkoun got walked down as soon as he got back up against the fence. Phil Hawes says, "Oh yeah, okay, good night," and then just gets clobbered. Like I could see something very similar to that happening, but obviously I think Malkoun's obviously going to try and make adjustments. I don't think it's going to be quite as easy, but I think that he's in there with a guy that's very deadly. I think that the round one TKO for Alhassan's very live. I think we've heard him in interviews as well. He's very driven. He does not want to sustain another loss here. Talking about things like his son having seen him get knocked out like that. He's like, I'm not letting that happen again. Stuff like that. Like this guy, he's clearly got a lot of drive in him. I think he's also been talking about been having a lot of conversations recently with Kamaru. Hopefully he's set it on a good track now. I think that he had tons of potential, as Doug was saying. He still does. I think he was never the most honed or clean striker, but when you have power like that, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And so I think I'll definitely be taking a shot on the first round, but I think I just thought there's nothing too impressive I see from Malkoun. I heard him talking about how he got his brown belt recently, but it was in gi. So I'm like, okay.
Who, Malkoun?
Yeah, he got his gi.
Wow, I don't know why he's fighting at 185 pounds, but I mean, we all know. Isn't it crazy?
I think
isn't
he's also a training partner for Whittaker.
Oh, that's where I was going to get into. Isn't it kooky? Isn't it crazy that just so happens Robert Whittaker's on this card, and look who pops up slightly down the line is Jacob Malkoun.
Uncommon for guys from similar camps,
similar
areas.
Of course,
on the same card as far as,
especially from Australia. I get it, but I don't think that. I just don't think that we've seen anything to warrant Malkoun a place in the UFC. Have I watched his other fights against like Tomasi and stuff like that yet? No, but I mean, there's just not much we've seen that can warrant him, especially at 185 pounds, man. You better be some, I don't know, man. You better be some slick boxer coming in looking like that at 185. If that's if you're like a natural 185 or at 5'9", you feel money mint. And you just come in and you work from there. But like, he's just one of these guys where we all know what the UFC is. It's a lot of fucking weight bullies. It's actually part of the sport. Like, it's actually part of the sport. Part of the sport is figuring out what you can fight at, like being healthy, but also cutting down weight at the same time to make your body, as, light as possible to make those weight classes. So, I mean, I don't know. We see a lot of weight bullies. We see a lot of guys that are moving around with a lot of power. It's definitely kind of different because Alhassan's now moving up. It's going to be interesting, man. I think that we'll take Alhassan regardless. Am I a little bit... What is round 1? 2.4?
I was gonna. My notes I'm gonna throw some definitely on round 2 just because obviously there's
I was gonna say
he's not like we've seen him have power in round 2 as well. I think we're also gonna see him be a bit more concentrated here. I did see also he was talking about. Also in interviews, like how he has a new mentality going into this fight. I think it could be a lot. Like obviously, when you lose a fight like that to a guy like Chaos Williams, as soon as you watch that fight back, it's one of the first things that jumps out to you. The mentality of Chaos Williams and the death stare through the soul, of his opponent. Like sometimes it depends on certain guys. Sometimes prefer guys be more calm. Sometimes guys like Corey Anderson has spoken about recently, changed that mindset to where
I hear what you're saying.
Kill or be killed. Like I'm going out there to hurt somebody. Like, and that when you have the power of a guy like Alhassan and you're going in there with guys at 185, it's the mentality you need. It's the kind of killer instinct that you need. So I think a 1-2 split might be a little might be the way to go here. But I think it's too likely to happen for me not to bet the round 1.
It's almost fucking crazy looking at his career too, eh? Guy's never won a decision. Guy has never won a decision, only lost them, and he's only ever won a fight with a first round knockout. Like, literally, bro. He's never got a second round knockout. He's only ever knocked people out in the first fucking round.
The first time for everything.
Yeah, I'll take that first round.
First time for everything.
But yeah, I'm not really too high on Malkoun. I don't think we really need to break this one down too much more. I mean, definitely we'll be talking about it before the fight. We'll be throwing around tons of money, like splitting the rounds and stuff like that. And maybe even, who knows, maybe Malkoun looks fucking like he's done a fucking EPO cycle and he looks fucking great on the scale and he comes out like the six-pack's been hiding and he looks like he's an actual natural 185er, looks to come in there and put some sort of craised pace on. And
I don't think that's too likely. I think we saw him not too long ago. Like
I don't think there's much.
It's weird though when you got two guys both coming off of knockouts in that fashion. It's interesting how
vicious. That's what I said, man. Vicious, vicious knockouts for both those guys. Both.
It doesn't really get much worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like we've talked about when you're talking to Chaos Williams, saying we're gonna test his chin in the fight. You know what I mean? We're going to chin check him in the fight, and you get literally
straight right down the pipe.
First shot he throws.
Shin bomb.
Yeah, kind of crazy. Oh, this one was originally supposed to be way earlier in the card, I think. And then obviously they came to their senses and they said, "What are we doing?"
Well, it wasn't originally booked, right? Or when it was originally.
Yes, yeah. Sorry,
the original matchup, or
what was the original matchup? I thought it was a little higher. Maybe it wasn't though.
Maybe not. Maybe when they originally said it, it was still there in the original position, and then like well, we're paying this guy $300,000 to show. Might as well put him up there on the main card.
Ping Papa Arlovski.
I'd be taking more short notice fights if I was Papa Arlovski. But go ahead.
We got a heavyweight bout at 265 pounds between Andrei Arlovski, 6'3" with a 77-inch reach, taking on Chase Sherman, 6'4" with a 78-inch reach. Arlovski 19-12 in the UFC with a 30-20 MMA record. Chase Sherman 3-5 in the UFC with a 15-6 MMA record. Arlovski 17 knockouts, 1 submission. Chase Sherman 14 knockouts, no submissions. Arlovski coming off of most recently that loss to Tom Aspinall, in which we saw kind of a little bit more of a slow-paced fight. We actually saw kind of in that fight, we saw Arlovski trying to, game plan a little bit, try and slow him down a little bit, try and make it so, it was a little bit where Andrei Arlovski could have a little bit more control if Aspinall gassed in that second and third. It wasn't really like that. We saw kind of Aspinall able to kind of blitz, kind of land some shots, actually be very smart picking his shots, and when they hit Arlovski, you could tell they were hitting him hard. Arlovski would kind of look to try and blitz actually with more so these combos with his head down, and I was fucking nervous when I saw him doing that right off the start, but Aspinall came into that second round looking casual, landing some good shots, and then quickly getting that takedown right to that rear naked choke just very quickly. In the Boser fight, we saw Arlovski pretty much come up against the guy in Tanner Boser, in which he was able to, the slow start to the fight, but that's how Arlovski kind of likes to start very slow, not a high pace, so you can't get too ahead of him in that first round, and then he can kind of have a little bit more success in the second and the third when you slow. Arlovski was kind of looking to check legs early in that fight. Both of them were kind of largely out of range for the first round, but Arlovski was just kind of landing those kicks and landing the hard counter right hand at the bell. You saw the very close second round, not a ton of shots thrown, arguably more landed by Arlovski, and then in that third, we saw kind of Arlovski have a little bit more success and was able to get that UD win over Tanner Boser, a hard-hitting guy nonetheless, and a guy who's looking to, trying to make a statement in the heavyweight division. The Felipe Lins fight, I mean, we could even go that far back, but I'm not going to. We got a UD win in that fight, which was, kind of moving well, countering well, getting Lins to only kind of throw and land that low percentage. And when you fight that fight with Papa Arlovski, he's going to fucking win it. It's Papa Arlovski. He knows how to put you to sleep. He knows how to, read you the bedtime story and then turn it up to a horror story in fucking one round. You know what I mean? The Chase Sherman fight. Chase Sherman, we've seen him come recently in his second stint in the UFC, coming off now a knockout win to Ike Villanueva, in which, he was just... We've seen Chase Sherman. I mean, I've been a guy who's been following Chase Sherman, not only through his first stint in the UFC, but I followed him when he went to BKFC, and I was, pretty adamant on watching a guy who had, been from the UFC, a decent guy in the UFC is striking at that, to then go into the BKFC realm and, try and, have some fights there. And now he's made his way back, obviously coming off that knockout win to Ike Villanueva, him just having more distance, able to just keep his head at bay. I like what I've seen in improvements, especially since from the BKFC days, or what you could say is post Sakai loss, because that was his last lockout loss. That was his last loss in the UFC before getting cut his last stint, his last time, and that was it, knockout loss when Augusto Sakai was on the rise. And that was a hard fight. I mean, me kind of more getting into that fight, and then I'll kind of kick it back and compare it to the Ike Villanueva fight a little bit. We saw kind of Sakai and Sherman kind of exchanging these kind of kickboxing combos. Lots of kind of close range, shortened shots, hooks, kicks to finish off the combos. We kind of saw Sherman kind of treading into deep waters, looking to kind of wade into the hooks and the power of Sakai. We saw throughout the fight, Sherman was winning against Sakai, piecing him up from range when he was using the jab and using that little bit of distance and that range and kind of what he knew with straight shots rather than treading into fucking deep waters, which he started to do late. We saw him having immense success. And then you could even say, okay, he was winning the fight for up first 2 rounds, more strikes landed and thrown, better activity, pushing the pace the whole time. But then you saw kind of Sakai was able to start having success when Sherman wasn't setting up his shots. We kind of saw Chase Sherman kind of look tired with a kind of like a minute and 30 left in that fight. And then we pretty much left in that second round. And then we ended up seeing in the third round, we saw him walking forward almost mindlessly like a zombie into the most powerful range of Augusto Sakai, in which, he was looking to try and exchange some of these aggressive shots with Sakai, but we saw Sakai able to get clinch, land that good knee to the body, and then he pretty much started getting clipped with shots with elbows, and pretty much ended up gassing out. I think it was the body shot that ended up, finishing him and getting him to curl over like that, but Nonetheless, a knockout win for Augusto Sakai. But since then, we saw him against Ike Villanueva. We saw him in BKFC. His boxing's far more improved. His head movement's much better. His frame looks way better. He looks nothing like he did in his first UFC stint. More well-rounded, more better trained. We've now heard that, he's full-time. He's now quit his job as a firefighter, and he's a full-time UFC fighter, a full-time UFC training for the UFC in all of his time, giving his full percentage of the time to it. I love that. I'm all aboard it. I love seeing the improvement in Chase Sherman's career, and I will be backing him heavily in this fight. I mean, it's a good question because, like I said, I've already been watching this guy for a lot. I've seen his transition, his improvements with his striking. I mean, there's somewhat small improvements, but they make a significant increase to his game and to his work rate as a fighter, especially in the UFC and at this level, because he's seen top level talent. Don't get that shit twisted. Chase Sherman's fought some of those guys coming up on the rise, just capping it off with Augusto Sakai, but I mean, he still has fought some high level names. I mean, Sherman isn't gonna just I think if we're gonna see a little bit more of an improvement, it's gonna be kind of Sherman not really looking to straight up finish Arlovski. I think he's going to look to probably put up a beat down on Arlovski a little bit and then kind of look and let this finish kind of come to him. I don't think that he needs to chase these finishes too much. I think he knows now, second run around in the UFC, this is the kind of time where you have to just prove who you are as a fighter, show your improvements, and win fights. It's just win, baby. And I think that's what Chase Sherman's going to go out there and do. I see Chase Sherman pretty much going out there, putting a pace on Arlovski. I think just totally outpointing him with shots, far more shots to the head and the body. I think that that pressure that he had, and he's just able to, put on a little bit more strikes now. I think that even with the frame, he'll even be looking good late. I don't think Arlovski's plan to maybe take him into deep waters and drown him will work. I think Arlovski, nonetheless, one of the top guys, cemented his legacy in the UFC, and has fought top guys from around the world. The Pitbull is coming off of that quick finish loss to Tom Aspinall, and Arlovski, always dangerous off the loss. But I think the fresher, faster guy, Chase Sherman, gets it done. Like another good point, this is Arlovski's I think it's the only fight apparently in his career that he's ever taken on short notice. So it's going to be interesting. I do think that Chase Sherman comes in here, puts on the better pace, puts on the better shots. I think that he's got the better tank, and I think he ends up winning this fight. How? I mean, it's kind of hard to say, right? We've got a guy in Chase Sherman, and he's recently knocked out a guy in Ike Villanueva. And I mean, you even see, Arlovski get touched with some of these shots. And when we start looking around where we're like, oh, fuck, is Tom Aspinall going to knock him out? That's a pretty sharp right hand, and it's jolting Arlovski's head back. You know what I mean? So it could be one of those things where it's a yes, no, we're not really 100% sure. I mean, I think the more likely thing would be to say that he gets this one done via finish. But I don't know, man. I somehow see Papa Arlovski at least surviving this one. I do.
I've got the decision.
Yeah.
But I agree with everything you said. I'm all over Chase Sherman in this fight. But just to play devil's advocate, I think the one thing that could be a problem here is Chase Sherman, like you said, you wanted to see a bit more of a measured approach, him not try and go in there and just finish Arlovski.
Yes.
But if he does that, there's the concern that he falls into this Arlovski pace, that those slow, grindy fights that he's pulled guys like Tanner Boser into lately in the later part of his career.
Yeah.
And into those sloppy, close decision kind of back and forth striking matches.
I hear that.
I'd still favor Chase Sherman in one of those, even if that's how it plays out. Just because he's faster, he's younger, he's a bit better everywhere at this stage in his career.
Yeah.
But I'll take the decision, and I think Chase Sherman is going to push the pace a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
and impose his will a little bit in this one. So yeah, I'm big on Chase Sherman.
Let's go, Dougie. Fuck, I don't.
We're on the same wave this card.
Yeah, Doug. Have me and you even picked a fight that's been different?
I don't think so.
Holy fuck.
Don't you dare pick Gastelum, you motherfucker.
No, I'm not.
In this fight. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know you're not. I know you're picking Chase Sherman.
Let's get another consensus one. It's kind of like, I was like, because when I did disagree with you guys on the on the Munoz one, I'm like, oh, it's because we have been agreeing so much here. I'm kind of felt weird about that one. But yeah, no, I think
that was me last week. I felt left out on the prelims.
You have
Munoz
been going out on the you guys have been kind of disagreeing on the prelims quite often though in the last several weeks.
I know.
Yeah, hasn't gone well for me.
On this one, we've been very similar on this card though.
Yeah.
On this one, I think Chase Sherman. I think I think it's Chase Sherman 2.0 as the Surge has been explaining. I think this guy's in his second run at the UFC. I think he's got a lot to prove. It's a hell of a lot tougher fight than the guy he was set to fight, but I think he's got what it takes to take on Arlovski. I think it's the first time in a very long time. If I'm not wrong, I think I saw something. It's like first time since like 2015 he's a favorite, or it's like his last 15 fights, one of the two. So I thought I saw that.
Stretch.
I wouldn't be that surprised. Like it's in the UFC heavyweight division, the guys that he's been fighting, like as I was saying before, like the amount that he gets paid. There's probably a reason they don't call him up on short notice. It's because they are paying him so much because he's such a veteran. But it's gonna be close. I think I'm pretty confident this fight is gonna go to a decision. I think Arlovski's got still got that chin. Some people can finish him. I don't think Chase Sherman's like the level of power puncher that will. I think like even like in that Aspinall fight, like when he hit him with the like 20-piece combo. I don't even know.
True. Forgot about that, and I was yelling survive. Because I bet on Arlovski. Survive, Papa. Shield up.
Yeah, I think this fight probably goes the distance, and I'm hoping that Sherman puts out a good game plan, puts on enough output to get in the judges' score favors.
Oh
but
yeah, I think like
could be dicey.
I don't really think it's gonna be that dicey. I fucking think Chase Sherman comes out there. I know, and I know Pop Arlovski's one of these guys. I said it the last time I bet on Arlovski. He's the guy that says, what did he say? Fuck your brother and fuck your parlay. And then it's a quote. It's Andrei Arlovski or whatever. And then it's like, but like really, he can fucking really fuck your parlay up. But I would really have to say it's going to be Chase Sherman. I think that even if they do get in a striking battle, I think that Chase Sherman goes in there and knows what battle you don't want to get into with Arlovski, and that's trading fucking kicks from like a short distance, I just said his name, god damn it. Now I can't even remember it. I literally just had it on the notes too, so I'm not here. Like a Tanner Boser. Like when you go in there and you fight and you're looking to set up this one big knockout shot versus Arlovski, like continue with your trend of knocking guys out, and then it's a kickboxing battle where maybe you can't kick this guy and now it's gonna go to decision, but you've lost because you haven't landed the more significant strikes. He's stepped in on you at the end of the first. He's landed more body kicks and leg kicks from range, and that's how you lose a fight against Andrei Arlovski. You get lulled to sleep. He reads you the book, and then he'll turn it to a horror story at one point if he wants to, and fucking he'll win those last two, and you'll go, I just woke up and the story's over and I lost. Oh shit. Yeah, you know what I mean?
The villain Valal trying to wake you up.
Yeah, literally, bro.
Consciousness.
Fuck. I mean, yeah, I probably
speaking of
don't just pull that up. Just don't pull that up. We'll talk about it later, bro. if we do some banter, we'll just do it after.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, we're clamoring on. I think the longer these get, they just keep getting longer and longer, man.
I said it takes time.
I know, for greatness.
I don't mind the fight to go the distance in this one either, to be honest. Kind of like
I think that's a little.
I don't know if I'd take that.
I'm actually okay with it though. I don't think I'm.
No.
How many fights have we picked to be stoppages on this card? We're basically picking the same fucking card we saw last week, aren't we?
I don't mind it. It is kind of risky, but like Chase Sherman's not a power puncher or Arlovski. I think we're gonna see a very slow first round. I don't think we're gonna see a finish, to be honest. Obviously, it's heavyweight. It is heavyweights.
Of course it is. Of course it is. I hear exactly what you're saying, man. It is like a little bit of a weird thing. Could be a little weird. We'll end up seeing what
it's not gonna be like Arlovski ain't fucking Ike Villanueva. Like Villanueva was kind of a punching bag for like half that fight.
Yeah. You don't like Ike though. Okay. Let's roll over this one though.
I never said that.
No, that's what I was saying before the fight. Remember, you don't like Ike. I was like, it was my little mantra. I was trying to get myself juiced betting on the underdog and Ike Villanueva because I didn't think I was gonna see the improvement that I saw from Chase Sherman that I did see, and I went, oh fuck, I went long. Even the first couple strikes, I went long. This is gonna be a long night for Ike. He's gonna have to catch him with an overhand and fucking end this fight. And we even saw like that's kind of where Chase Sherman, either if he knows he can take the shots or he'll wade into danger a little bit. I talked about it. He likes to wade into danger a little bit, and that's kind of what gets him into some sticky situations sometimes. He's looking for the finish, but I mean, what are you gonna do? We got the co-main event, a lightweight bout at 155 pounds between Drakkar Klose, 5'9" with a 70-inch reach, and Jeremy Stephens, 5'9" with a 71-inch reach. Klose 5-2 in the UFC with 11-2 and 1 MMA record, 4 knockouts, no subs. Stephens 15, 17, and 1 in the UFC with a 28 and 18 MMA record. I mean, Jeremy Stephens, he's been one of these guys that's been fighting for the UFC for absolutely ever. So shout out to him. I mean, like can't give him much more credit than that. Like, I mean, this guy's been around for a solid minute. Stephens has 19 knockouts and 2 submissions throughout his career. Drakkar Klose is coming off of what I called one of my top fights of the year for it not being a title fight or a main event. The Drakkar Klose Beneil Dariush fight, in which that was a knockout loss for Drakkar Klose. He was pretty much just looking to walk him down early, trying to land some heavy shots, but we saw it. He was getting taken down, and his back was getting kind of ridden against the cage, and we kind of saw, man. We kind of saw like the early openings in that fight. We saw Drakkar Klose hammering the leg kick. We even saw instantly there might have been something wrong with Dariush's leg. It might have been a little bit compromised, but I mean, we saw Dariush was able to kind of, he had his back taken. We saw like the standing body triangle. We saw these guys like fighting hands for pretty much the remainder of the first. In the second, we saw kind of some huge combos and a kick that pretty much hurt and stumbled Beneil Dariush, but we know Beneil Dariush for having one of these top chins in the UFC for sure. And he ended up getting pretty much Drakkar Klose looking a little bit too much for the finish, rushing him for that finish and getting pretty much blitzed with punches by himself from Beneil, just getting caught right as he was walking him for that finish and getting dropped and finished. It was what a fight. Drakkar Klose also got a UD win over Christos Giagos, in which stalking him down with pretty much a heavy low kick and opening up with the hands. More so, a lot of shots. Klose was kind of fires some shots in that fight that seemed a little bit labored. We saw kind of his back taking a start to start the second and both hooks in, having kind of punches rain down on him by Giagos. In that third round, we kind of saw him start kind of coming toward and start coming on a little bit in the second half, really putting on the pressure with heavy shots and eventually scoring the takedown, looking to finish with some heavy ground and pound, but not able to do it. Jeremy Stephens, on the other hand, he's coming off of that Calvin Kattar knockout loss. Obviously, we saw him in that fight come in 5 pounds heavier. Now we're finally seeing him make the move up to lightweight. I mean, that Calvin Kattar fight, what can I say? I mean, we saw it right off the bat. We saw the game plan for Jeremy Stephens was pretty much to look to eat up that leg. We also saw Jeremy Stephens kind of in classic style. He throws fucking heavy. Everything's thrown with like 100%. On mostly throughout the fight, all of his punches are thrown with like 100%, looking to take your head off. I mean, Stephens was landing that low kick on Kattar, and we obviously saw like he was starting to have some success trying to chop down at the legs. We saw kind of Kattar being able to kind of sit, throw punches and bunches, and accurately. He was able to kind of set those feet and kind of do some damage. We saw Kattar's lead leg was like really kind of starting to get hurt, and Jeremy Stephens was kind of doing some good work with that. But then we even saw saw a reversal. We kind of saw Kattar starting to attack the leg of Jeremy Stephens, starting to hurt that leg up a little bit and make it look even more hurt. I mean, it's kind of one of these things, right, where we had Stephens kind of getting picked apart, kind of looking for a little bit too much, and Kattar just a lot more slick. Both guys still getting touched up. We saw kind of both guys in that second round of that fight. We saw both guys kind of step in at the same time, and we saw Kattar land and step in with that massive elbow and was able to kind of finish Stephens, follow with more hard elbows. I mean, what a fight. The Yair Rodriguez fight, that was a UD loss. I mean, Yair had a lot of success. This is their second fight. Kicking from distance, kicking to the body, picking his shots from range, kicking the legs and working it from there, and then kind of really trying to taking some variability from there and then trying to work from there. And I mean, he really did have a lot of success with it. I mean, Stevens was just trying to sit on those punches and get that knockout, kind of like what we've seen. And I mean, when we don't see him have success with the knockout, that's when we kind of see him tend to, start fading, start kind of having less ability, kind of, fade a little bit. Like if he doesn't get it his way, like there's not many other avenues he's gonna, be able to kind of get that on, because you've just got that little bit more than him, because he's been throwing to try and take your ass out. I mean, this is one of those ones I kind of laid on the fence on, and I'm still kind of laying on the fence a little bit for this fight. I really have been thinking about this one for a minute. And I mean, something tells me, man, something tells me this move up for Jeremy Stevens is going to be good. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of stuff about Drakkar Klose looking to probably attack this leg, and now he's saying he's finally mastered this leg kick. But I do think that Jeremy Stevens is going to come in and look to put on a good fight as per usual. Do I think that fight's going to be able to really warrant him the win? I mean, Jeremy Stevens is coming off of, arguably a very, very tough stretch of fights in the UFC, not even having won since basically the beginning of 2018, where him and fucking Josh Emmett went to war and he was able to knock out Josh Emmett. Oh man, I think it's a hard ask in this one. It's a hard ask in this one, but you've definitely seen the better level of competition and the better level of guys in Jeremy Stevens' career and the guys that he's fought in his career. But fuck, when you've had that many fights in the UFC, and we know that Drakkar Klose is going to come in there and look to pretty much put a starching on you and look to put power on you, and him being already naturally what I would call, the partially bigger guy, even though Jeremy Stevens, no problem moving up 10 pounds. I don't see it being a problem either, but I think I'm going to end up having to go with Drakkar Klose via decision in this fight.
Had me worried the way you're talking there. I thought we were going to disagree on one. I'm a bit more confident than you in this one. I've got Drakkar Klose.
I'm glad, bro. I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in this one. I think Drakkar Klose is better than people think. I think he looked really good in that Beneil Dariush fight. Against
yeah, you're right.
A guy who a lot of people have continued to underrate, and he's in a big fight now coming up against Tony Ferguson. He was right there in that fight, and he had Beneil hurt.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy Stevens is
in the Beneil fight though, it was a minute into the round. The first round, he got his back ridden the entire time. We didn't really see him he hurt him a little bit, but hardly got to see anything, to be honest. I think.
Take it as you may.
I mean, we're also not looking. I'm not looking at this. I'm not looking at the wrestling as much. I'm not worried about Drakkar Klose's wrestling. I don't think Jeremy Stevens is going to go in there and ride his back for a round. I think they're going to go in there and do what they did when we saw them in exchange.
A minute of
you're right. You're right.
You got a minute of striking. I thought that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
it was
that's
as
what I'm
exciting
looking.
as it was. One of the best rounds of the year. So yeah, it was only a minute.
Yeah, no, but from that, and from his other fights, I think Drakkar Klose is just he's a good striker at 155. I think he's a solid contender. Jeremy Stevens has fought a lot of top guys, and that's why he's on this lengthy losing streak. But I just don't see him as anything really special. I think Drakkar Klose can definitely win this fight pretty easily. I think he's a better striker. I think he's going to go in there a lot more composed. He's not going to go in there wild. And Jeremy Stevens is going to be wild. We know what and who Jeremy Stevens is. He doesn't plan on changing. He's not worried about it. He's going to go in there and swing like crazy. And I think the way Drakkar Klose is going to be focused on his patience, he's going to be able to pick Jeremy Stevens apart, and I think he could even finish him late.
Wow. Okay. Dan, what are you thinking?
I'm either gonna have fucking say the guys are just gonna pull ahead with these other two, or I'm just gonna be having an
laughing his way to the bank on Saturday.
I could be. I think even Drakkar Klose might be the favorite by the time the fight happens. I think the people are gonna look at start looking at the recent stretch, start looking at the record, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's either a straight pick 'em or Klose is the favorite. But no matter where it is, I'm gonna go with Jeremy Stevens.
I'm not even laughing. I'm not even laughing. I think it's a good
he's the
pick.
favorite right now. It's not a laughable pick whatsoever. It's a good fight.
Yeah.
Well, which I was kind of shocked by. I thought Klose would be the favorite, but I understand.
Like I said, I didn't even know. I would have assumed so too.
he hasn't nearly been fighting the level of competition. And yeah, let's be honest. Yeah, like that first round against Calvin Kattar, Jeremy Stephens looked awesome. That overhand elbow was a beautiful shot that absolutely dropped him. But up until then, I think you could. I think I scored that first round for Jeremy Stephens with those leg kicks and everything. It's obviously Calvin Kattar started a bit slow in that fight. You could argue, but still, he got that round, and I think if he's able to come out in a similar fashion against Rickard Close, use his speed, start working the legs early, get him the scorecards, maybe even win the first two. I think that he can win this fight. I think that he obviously he has fought at lightweight before, but not in a long time. I think it was in 2012 last time we fought there. Got finished by Yves Edwards in the first round, I believe. But yeah, that's just
it was like 2014 or something like that.
2012,
way back. Oh, way back, yeah.
But this guy, this is the veteran that he is. He's the big fought a guy like Yves Edwards is fucking.
Oh yeah,
great.
he's been around,
like,
man.
He's fought all these guys. Like
has the most losses in UFC history.
It's positives and negatives for sure. Positives and negatives.
Because he goes out there and he scraps. Like he's got the power to either sleep somebody or get slept because he doesn't fight the most 100%. Conservative sometimes. But man, he does have talent. At the end of the day, he's not somebody that. He's not somebody that's going to go out easy. He's always going to be fighting. Well,
we know he's one of the real hardest hitting 145ers. We got to find out if he's one of the real hardest hitting 155ers now.
Well, I think that's fine. I think that you don't tend to lose power going up.
I just kind of wanted to throw in a Connor joke.
Oh, sorry, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, that was kind of all that was. No, I'm not worried about Jeremy Stephens' power. I'm sure he's got.
Yeah, I'm not even worried about him going up. He almost made the last weight. He almost made the jump in weight his last fight.
He usually, it says he usually cuts around 35, and it's usually a tough one. He's like talking about like in the Aldo fight. That was part of the reason why he thought the liver shot really hurt him. He didn't even think that was really even a pure liver shot. He was just so drained, and that just got him so clean to the body. But I wasn't as confident in this pick until I watched Media Day, and I didn't get it. I don't think you got a chance to watch it, did you, Serge?
No, I didn't watch it. And honestly, it's either good or bad staying away from it sometimes.
I think normally I don't tend to watch them. Could be bad. Could be good.
Because they get this shit going in my.
This is the reason I'm taking them.
The fuck a belt part.
But this is the reason why you gotta tune in this year. At least to this shit. Not only that, despite that great performance in the first round. That was in spite of the fact that I think it was a week before the fight he had reconnected with his mother, who hadn't spoken with whoever.
Okay, I get that. Yeah.
What?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What do you get? You didn't weren't even watching. No, you don't think this had an impact? You want me to stop talking about it if you don't think this matters?
I mean, all I'm gonna say is there's guys that are going through shit behind the scenes all the time, and the stories kind of like that can sway you one way or the other. Yes,
you've been beaten her entire life by consecutive boyfriends, and you've had issues with, and you haven't connected with, and you meet and you reconnect with a week before a fight. Then you don't fight for 18 months. As a guy who is super active in the interviews, talking about settling up with all these things, taking care of his mother, who almost overdosed, dealing with all this kind of stuff, getting completely clean himself, does not drink anymore. That's a huge thing. He's didn't say he was necessarily had a problem, but yeah, sounded like he drank quite a decent amount. Probably he was even talking about having drinks with Rickard Close in the lead up to the fight. It sounded like in the last one. So I don't think that he's necessarily been the most focused guy in that sense, but it seems at this point,
Jesus Christ, Rickard Close drinking a couple before the last one. Jesus fuck.
I think he's had trouble missing weight or making weight too in that fight.
Yeah, it's called fucking booze and being a fighter don't mix. You got to pick your times. But yeah, that's actually a good story, Dan. That's relevant. That's for sure relevant.
He said he's the most focused and ready he has been in his entire career. I think.
Holy shit!
I think we gotta take that kind of shit into account. And when I don't think Drakkar Close is necessarily anything too special, and I think that these are the kind of guys that Jeremy Stephens has knocked out previously, and I think he might do it again.
True.
Because especially Drakkar Close in the interview, also not respecting him, because it's hilarious. Like Jeremy Stephens is like, yeah, we had some drinks. He was a pretty nice guy. In the previous interview, yeah, Drakkar Close was like, yeah, I don't think he's a guy that's really improving between these fights. It's gonna be
say it how it is, baby. I heard there was some shit that Drakkar Close was talking about. Did you watch it?
18 months. I can bet your ass he's gonna have to see an improved guy.
Did you watch? Did you hear the? Was it an article or was it in the interview? Because like I said, I didn't watch the media day today. Did he talk about his new leg kicking routine in the media day today, or was that just an article that he did prior to? Okay, so that's an article from the prior day. I'll bring that up later. But apparently, I had it up at one point and then I fucking took it away. Here, let me find it. I didn't want to do it now because I might put us behind a little bit.
I think that Jeremy Stephens not KO TKO 4-1. It's not bad. Same for Drakkar Close KO TKO. They're both pretty good, or just even the fight to end in the one of the first 2 rounds. So
fuck! I literally had this article.
All right.
I don't know if I'm I'm not gonna be able to find it right now. No way. Not quickly enough. No way.
Well, I think that my pick was Jeremy Stephens' decision, but yeah, I do think he has the power to finish him. But
absolutely.
I think he'll get ahead in the first round and.
No, I don't think that's a bad pick at all. I think it's a close fight,
like, who knows? After getting finished by a guy like Beneil, maybe his chin's not fully recovered. He gets finished again. Who knows?
True. I mean, it's always weird too,
especially
right?
If he's not respecting a guy like Jeremy Stephens.
It's almost the same
Four
thing.
losses don't mean.
But it's almost it's almost the same thing with Kattar in the Kattar fight in his loss. He's stepping in to go try and land shots on Kattar, and he gets fucking caught. Right? The same kind of thing with Drakkar Close.
If the guy that fought him, if Kattar, is in the octagon, I like my chances. And I think we're going to see an even better guy. If we see an improved version of that, and Drakkar has to fight that, good luck. I
don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. I honestly think it could go either way. It's very close. It's very fucking close. I do agree. Like, that's why it took me so long to really like figure that one out. Like I said, I was on the fence riding that one for a minute. No idea how the lines look either.
It's close on the lines for a reason. I think and I think it will be.
And I didn't look at the lines, so I mean, it makes sense that I'm taking so long to pick this one and fucking try and figure it out. But yeah, I think that why go against Doug now when me and Doug are literally conjoined at the hip this week, and we'll be rolling in the quiche together, quiche bath.
Or I'm gonna be the grad champion. We'll see.
Yeah, I know it could either be that too, or Dan finally comes out and has a defying week against
Also, I'm hoping Jeremy Stephens turns into the dog. I think he belongs as the underdog.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna put some early money on Close.
You really think it's gonna shift like that, eh?
Why not?
Honestly, yeah, it's already shifted pretty good. I think he's at plus 100 now, and he started at plus 120.
Really? Okay. So then maybe, we're gonna make the parlay after this. Okay, let me tune up on this last final fight. I mean, there's not a huge, I don't really want to go over it forever. I could talk about fucking Robert Whittaker for years, and same with Kelvin Gastelum. Just recently did before the Ian Heinisch fight. But here it is, people, the main event of the evening. The middleweight bout at 185 pounds between Robert Whittaker, 6 foot with a 73.5-inch reach, taking on Kelvin Gastelum, 5'9", with a 71.5-inch reach. Whittaker, 13-3 in the UFC with a 22-5 MMA record, 9 knockouts, 5 submissions. Gastelum, on the other hand, 11-6 in the UFC with a 16-6 MMA record, 6 knockouts, 4 submissions. Prior to that, last thing we've seen kind of from Gastelum recently was that Ian Heinisch fight, where we've kind of seen him come out of the woodworks after, coming off of what I would call, a bad stint of losses. Honestly reminds me of what kind of Jeremy Stephens has fucking been through, fighting top guys in the division, Jack Hermanson, Darren Till, Israel Adesanya, of course. I mean, and then we kind of see him finally, right? Like we had him in the Heinisch fight, and we're like, what kind of Kelvin are we going to see? We're going to see Kelvin come out and get the win here. And we saw Kelvin come out and pretty much do everything that we had hoped he was going to do, dictate that fight from where he wanted it to be dictated and get the UD win over Ian Heinisch. As far as Robert Whittaker goes, and if you guys weren't watching that fight in the main event, then I believe that was a co-main at the time. That might have been a co-main on a card. I think it was, or was that a main?
The Cannoneer, that was the co-main on the Gaethje.
That was the co-main on the Gaethje. There you go. So the Gaethje, if you guys haven't watched any of these last couple Robert Whittaker fights, you got to go back and watch them as well. They're always high up in the card, so there's no.
I don't think there's ever really been like a bad Robert Whittaker fight.
That's what I mean, right? Like you're never like go back and watch these because you will get enjoyment out of them. The Jared Cannonier fight, we expected Jared Cannonier to come in there and possibly be this guy to take Robert Whittaker's second chance away from him. But as we've seen, even in the Darren Till fight, Robert Whittaker's here for one thing and one thing only. The rematch, the strap at 185 pounds. He's coming for it. He wants the rematch with Izzy, and I think he will do nothing. Nothing's going to come in his way to stop him. All in all, I mean, could Kelvin Gastelum pull something out in this fight like we've seen throughout his career? He's always in these fights. I just think that we've seen it, man. Robert Whittaker in main events, you don't want to fight him in a main event for 5 rounds. He will punish you. I'm taking Robert Whittaker all the way here. I don't have a problem with going against Kelvin Gastelum. Taking Robert Whittaker, no problem, Sass. By decision or by finish, that's where I'm.
I've got the decision.
I probably have to think so too.
I'm also going decision.
I probably have to think so too.
Pretty tough. I think that
the thing that does scare me is the amount of damage that Whittaker did to Cannonier in 3 rounds.
True.
That was just 3-round fight.
True.
And he beat Cannonier up bad. But then again, he didn't finish him.
Has Gastelum
and KG's a tough dude, so I got to take the decision on this one.
Yeah, Gastelum's never been KO'd.
No, I don't believe so.
Oh yeah, easy then. Easy money in the bank, boys. Let's go. Another main event.
I've got to take Robert Whittaker. He's just better everywhere.
Seems too easy then. Another main event decision.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Seems too easy. This whole week we're picking all decisions other than like the fucking women's fight.
I don't think that Gastelum, unfortunately, I think obviously Gastelum, the fact that he gets this opportunity, kind of coming for a circle after not getting the shot at the title at the end of the day after Robert Whittaker got injured and then having to do the interim title shot.
Yeah.
Against Adesanya. We all know how that went. So, if he is able to do this, it'd be kind of it'd be pretty storybook. It'd be kind of crazy for Gastelum. I don't know where he'd go from there. Definitely not fucking title shot. How he's saying winner should get the shot at the title. Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, of course he's gonna push that.
Yeah, of course. I gotta respect that shit.
I do think Gastelum could
maybe
mix
you
in
win
his
this,
wrestling
then you go
a bit more.
Then you go contend for fucking welterweight. You son of a bitch. But I think this is a great fight for Robert
Bobby Knuckles.
For him to really just finally say, I've done all I have to fucking do. What more?
Give it to me.
What more do I fucking have to do? I literally had the fucking championship. No, I don't think there's a champion in history that has had to do more. Like, has anybody ever had to fucking win more than 2?
Masvidal didn't even have to get a belt.
Yeah. If we want to even bring those kind of examples, it's fucking atrocious.
No, I mean,
for a
he
former
absolutely
champion,
deserves the shot though, and he can't be denied after this. If he
nobody's
wins
ever
this
been
fight,
fucking railroaded like this. If they go, like they don't really even have any other options. That's the thing with Izzy having lost the shot. So yeah, let's put the stamp on it. I think I already clicked it in. We can throw over to the odds, Serge.
Beautiful.
I already clicked it in. It's gonna be the final leg of that 4-leg parlay because I'm very confident.
I agree.
Over
2.4 on the decision, eh?
Not bad. Do we get
those later rounds?
Hedging
4-5. Yeah, we're doing it because we know Gastelum's not going to get taken out with 1, and that's not even necessarily Robert Whittaker style. He's more going to be like volume get you. And if he does,
And we did almost see him get finished late in the Adesanya fight.
True.
Wait, when did but Gastelum's had this fight for a decent while. He could
what
be
fight for a decent while?
like he's had like it's not super short notice. Like he's not going to necessarily be in.
He also is coming off another.
I don't think he can go hard.
Yeah, he's coming off a recent fight. I'd say
yeah, but throwing the fucking.
I mean, Gastelum ain't no old. Gastelum's not old, but he ain't no fucking spring chicken as far as his body comes for fighting anymore. We've seen that. Like, I don't know what he goes through, but he ain't even making the cut to make 170. So we already know that he's very loco chill with how he keeps everything going. It's all, huh?
You said 170.
Yeah, he's saying he doesn't cut to 170.
He doesn't even make
anymore.
the cut to 170.
Oh, I think he said he doesn't even cut to 170.
Yeah, I was just kind of saying like he even though we haven't seen him necessarily, like I don't know, I feel like he's one of these guys that as far as we've seen him on the Ultimate Fighter, was the last pick overall, worked his way all the way up to win it. That's one of the most inspirational things right there in one of those early.
Oh yeah, if he wins this fight, it's all part of the story. It'd be roping all this thing, last pick, not getting the shot, doing this. It'd be crazy.
Oh yeah, and that brings me back.
As the underdog, natural underdog, because of this.
That brings me back to reminding myself, who's old Papa Uriah Hall gonna fight? Oh, Chris Weidman coming up.
Yeah, he's got Chris Weidman.
After the canceled batch.
TKO, even though it's never happened. I guess I already said it's never happened. But
do we have the the other decision lines on this one? Oh. Yes, we do.
There we go.
UD at 3.0. I like that.
Yeah, it was like.
Let me see if Chris Lee's judging before I put any money on that.
You can check the judges in advance.
Some of these boxing exchanges. I think some of these boxing exchanges are going to be close, but like once fucking Bobby Knuckles starts throwing, like mixing in these beautiful. We all know it. What he does, he's beautiful. Like he does like a right hand followed by the right high kick or something like that. Like I think he's gonna clip him.
That 1-2 head kick of Whittaker, like thing of beauty.
Then pick the finish. Like what is it to win by finish?
No, I think we're gonna, as we said, we're gonna hedge. We're gonna hedge 4 and 5.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. I almost see it more so like what kind of Doug was saying. Like he'll be on the ground, he'll be fucking putting his elbow through Gastelum's face, and Gastelum's face will be a bloody mess, and it'll be like, man, is it worth going 2 more?
No, I was saying that was more for a reason for it to go to decision was Gastelum might try and use his wrestling more.
I think so. Yeah, I think so too. I think, but if
he does that, it's more
but I don't think
to go to decision.
I almost think
that was like the only way. Yeah, because he knew he had to do that to win. I think that, and it was very unusual for him to be pressing the wrestling in that fashion. I don't think he could impose the wrestling like that against Bobby Knuckles. Maybe. Definitely not over 5 rounds.
Interesting.
No, but to see him try and mix it in.
Yep.
Just knowing that he has it in his back pocket. He worked on it a lot for his last fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think
maybe at some point.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna turn into a boxing fight pretty much with Bobby Knuckles throwing in mixing in some kicks, but.
Yeah. Agreed. I'd probably say the same. Probably and elbows too. We're gonna see some sweet Bobby Knuckles elbows.
But yeah, I think.
And I'd love to see Bobby really work the body in this one.
Ended up getting cooked up right here.
You know what I mean, though, Doug? Work that fucking body.
Just got to go with the Reaper here.
Yeah.
Has the Munoz Pena.
I'm more of a Bobby Knuckles type of guy if I'm giving him a
Cortez.
nickname. I like the Bobby Knuckles nickname a little bit better. It reminds me of like Sonic or something like that, like actual Knuckles.
Godinez.
Bobby Knuckles.
Whittaker.
I like that parlay. Yeah.
It's a good parlay.
3.71. I like all those.
But you just have Whittaker straight?
Yeah, it's just because I'm not super confident in the UD. I'm not nearly as confident I was with Vittori.
That's the 2 women's fights too. So what's that at? 3.5? Are you gonna
Munoz and Pena?
Yeah, I see that. Cortez, Lupita,
Godinez.
and then Whittaker. Okay.
But you also, I don't know how you can take it because you said don't bet.
No, I'm not taking that. I'm staying away from that parlay. I can't. It's just in my mind the 3.7 to justify me taking half the parlay and half the parlay being women. Fuck that. I'm sorry. Not that I have anything against women, but picking them for the fights and with the.
I like the parlay. I'll take that.
That's scary for me.
Well, you're not going to bet them straight up, are you? You're going to lay straight units on it. The women?
I don't know what I'm laying down on the women yet.
That'll
like
be
I've
how.
said,
That's the only way I'm betting on it. I'm gonna hope that
we'll see how old Dr. Bellator does tomorrow. We'll see how Dr. Bellator does tomorrow. We'll see how much chunk change comes in on the women then.
you'll win something there, and then you'll fucking have every option.
That's what I mean. That's the beauty of it, though, right? That's the beauty of it, right? Win a little bit for Bellator, and it gives more options. Yeah, every option. Well, technically the account's still juiced from last week, and so every option is open. All doors are a go.
Or you go. Well, it depends how you slice it.
Oh yeah, but that's what I did last weekend during the boxing. Like I literally went down a severe amount of money. I had $100 at least, close to at least, just split out at one point after the UFC ended. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm like, I'm just putting around solo money on all these fights like crazy. I'm like, holy fuck. And then obviously that ended up going pretty well with a bunch of those. So yeah, but other than that, man, like I'm okay with that parlay. I think like for me to offer that one and to be like, that's our parlay piece.
Yeah, you already said told people not to take it.
Yeah, I know.
Me and Doug, you were making it all cards, so yeah, you don't have to take it. Nobody said you did. But yeah, unless there's anything in particular you guys want me to show on this one, I think we have pretty much wrapped it up.
Yeah, I think we're rolled through it.
I'm good on this one.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
Good card. Hopefully a lot of opportunity for
Didn't even seem like
money
we
on
went, Saturday. We just fucking get lost talking, and that's kind of what I love. We just kind of get lost talking, bro. We could go for fucking 8 hours easily. Like, bro, it doesn't even feel like we were sitting here for 2 hours and 35 minutes. One of our longer breakdowns now on the year.
Pretty consistently we were around this length, but
yeah. But within a couple minutes of being the longest. But still, I mean, do we going to open it up? Do we want to talk about a little bit of banner, or do we just kind of leave that and kind of just cap it at where it is, especially already being 2:35? If anyone does in the comments right now want to hop in, you just let me know in the comments and I will drop a link. But I think we're just going to chill for probably a minute or two. Just kind of talk about maybe even go over the Bellator a little bit real quick. Just kind of give a quick glance at the Bellator and then probably just kind of like what we did last week, and then probably just wrap it up. But if anyone wants to come in here, talk about some of the fights, anything like that, I will drop the link in the next minute or two. Kind of what we were talking about, especially on Fight Guys. If you guys aren't tuned in to Fight Guys every single Tuesday night at 9 p.m. as well, Eastern time. If you're not a fight guy, then fuck you. But I'm sure all you guys here are fight guys. We all like talking about fights. We all like, enjoying ourselves. And as many fights as are on as possible, we're going to sit back and pretty much watch them like we did with ONE FC last night. And now with tomorrow night, we get Bellator, which is perfect. We get this Bellator Light Heavyweight Championship tournament just continuing on. We get two legs kind of summed up. We get Vadim Nemkov and Phil Davis, the once light heavyweight champion. Those two guys squaring off in the main event, and then in the co-main event, we get the UFC, the once UFC light heavyweight contender in Corey Anderson taking on Yagshimuradov, in which that's going to be another one of those bouts and another one that's also part of the Grand Prix tournament. So, I mean, you don't get much more, better than that as far as Bellator goes, man. We like the Grand Prix tournament. I like the idea that they've set in place with that. You get a lot of good names throughout the entire card. We got Paul Semtex Daly taking on Sabah Homasi. Also in the main card, Julia Budd, Deanna Silva. I mean, it's a very good card, like Julius Anglickas, Gregory Millard. I mean, it's going to be one of these kinds of cards where, we're even having the rematch, like I was saying on Fight Guys, the rematch of the hardest nut shots I've ever seen on live watching it, which was Raymond Daniels and Peter Stanek, in which Raymond Daniels hit Peter Stanek with 2 spinning back kicks to the dick consecutively. And the guy could not even continue. It was some of the worst shots I've ever seen, just right to the plums, man. I felt really bad for that guy. So Raymond Daniels being one of those top kickboxers, we're going to love to see him keep coming out. Love to see a couple Canadians on the card, not only being Julia Budd, but Lance Gibson Jr. Look for him to go out there and get that win against Marcus Serene. We even got Victor Nemkov. We got Vadim's brother on the card. Me and Doug were talking about it on Fight Guys. Saul Rogers is on the card. It's a stacked ass card, man, and it's on tomorrow night. It's just the kind of continuation contract with Showtime, and I think most of the time their prelims are going to be on YouTube, right? They always do that, but then this card will be on will be linked with the Showtime app or wherever you can find it on Showtime or wherever you watch your Bellator MMA. But it's supposed to be a big card tomorrow, 13 fights as well. So I love having the Friday and then the Saturday with full of fights. So, I mean, some of the picks I'm looking to try and make, and I mean, me and the guys were already talking about it. We're definitely taking Vadim Nemkov and Corey Anderson and possibly parlaying those two guys. I think we had a third piece in there, but I'm trying to remember who it was. Or maybe we didn't even have a third piece in there. Was it Saul Rogers?
No,
was it Saul Rogers?
I think it was, no, we just had the two of them, and it was
okay, we just had the two of them.
money.
Okay.
I do like Saul Rogers, though. I'll take him. I believe he's at underdog money right now.
Yeah, both guys 14-3 taking on Mads Burnell. I mean, Mads Burnell being ranked the number one featherweight of the UK and Ireland. So, interesting. Interesting. We've seen him on Cage Warriors pretty much having a pretty impressive career. So, I mean, there's a lot of impressive fights on here. If anyone, like I said, if anyone does want to, hop in and, share their thoughts and feelings. I mean, other than that, I don't think anyone really does tonight, but that's absolutely fine.
Are those method of victories open for those two fights?
Let me see.
They're both 5 rounds, right?
Yeah. Yes, they are. That makes it even more exciting. I love that, right? And that's their excuse to make it 5 rounds, right? It's tournament style. Like every fight's got to be 5 rounds, right? It has to be fair, right? Either that or we're gonna make it all 3s. Can't make it all. I guess they could have made it like all 3. Fuck, 5's way more exciting.
Well,
especially with the light
championship fight be 3 though.
What's up?
Championship fight be 3.
Yeah, that's what I mean, right? But I would have said, especially with Nemkov and Davis, right? Yeah, I bet you that threw a big wrench in their plan right away. I'm excited for the Bellator card tomorrow too. So, I mean, it's constant excitement over here, people. I'm juiced up to be able to be, us to be able to keep providing you this. I appreciate everybody for coming out as per usual. It's something we enjoy doing. Obviously, we can talk for hours about this kind of shit, and we love breaking down the fights. I hope all you guys end up joining us on Saturday night. I believe the card starts around, I think it's a 6:30 start. Let me check it right now. It is I believe a 7 p.m. Eastern start time for the card. And that might be updated or non-updated, right? Because the UFC does sometimes tend to move if they lose a fight or two, and of course we haven't even had weigh-ins yet. They could lose one or two more fights, and then that changes the time either earlier or later. We don't know which direction they're going to go. We just know that we are always going to try and be going live 15 minutes before that start time to try and start bringing you guys through some bets, trying to start, warm ourselves up, kind of getting everything going, get the ball rolling, and then we start just breaking down the fights. So I really do appreciate you guys coming out, whoever does come out on Saturdays, or if you want to ever come out and bring some other people or whatever, like have some people that like fights, because I know that even nowadays it's harder to watch fights with people and shit like that with what's going on in the world. So we're just trying to provide that little bit more, little comfort and stuff like that. Like just chilling with your buddies, making bets, watching fights, having a couple beers, having a couple smokes, and just chilling out, man. So yeah, I appreciate everybody for coming out, and that's pretty much all I got to say for tonight. Doug, you got anything?
No, we got a lot of good bets in. Go.
Timestamps will be in there. Yeah, timestamps will be in here.
Timestamps will be in. Make sure you get your money down if you want to. Gamble responsibly.
Yep.
We'll see you guys on Saturday. It should be a good card.
Absolutely. Dan, any final parting words?
No, see you guys on Saturday.
Beautiful. Okay, thanks everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Have a good night.